And here we go. Get your palms up, your ones up. Yeah. It's Mr. Young.
And it's for AEW, bro. We are the Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga of WWE and AEW in Singapore, bro. Come on, let's go.
I don't know if that is a good or a bad thing, but okay, I'll take it because those two are like my favorite tag team right now, for better or for worse.
Anyway, my question is, which one you want to be, bro?
It's a tough choice. I don't necessarily want to be them. I just want to enjoy. Okay, you know what? They are like the bros you want to have in your circle of friends because they do all the stupid stuff. You laugh, but you all hang out, but you know they got your back. But you laugh at them because they do stupid shit.
Yeah, and you also don't want to see them every single day. I think it's going to be a bit too much. But you just want to enjoy them every few months, and laugh at them.
Laugh with them, bro. Laugh with them.
With them, that's the word.
And thanks for being with us here on a Tuesday. It feels like we haven't done a Tuesday podcast in a while, right? Our regular time slot, as it were. But yes, everybody, thanks for showing up and showing out. Fias, good to see you. Irvin, love that you're here. Alfred, what's going on, buddy?
It's been a minute. I'm happy you guys stuck through. I know usually when they say we're going to talk about AEW, for some reason, the viewership, the traffic also go low. I don't know. Are we following the trend? Because people legitimately, have you seen the previous comment on our dear friend, one of our guys was saying like, I fell asleep during your AEW discussion, but I woke up just in time to power through to the end. So I don't know whether talking about AEW takes away our audience or do you guys enjoy us talking about AEW? That's the question. We need to know as well.
Okay, and here's the thing, right? I don't want this to be, we are just bashing AEW because it's fun to bash AEW. Yes. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong, it is. Because some of the stuff they do is so ridiculous, you can't help but point it out and be like, look, that is stupid, right? Mm-hmm. Like the whole Ian Riccoboni diving under the table.
I saw. Oh my god!
right.
Thanks for showing me, bro. Thanks for showing me. Okay,
on Collision. I'm under the table, guys. Literally, he's not there. We know he's not there. Y'all added it in post, but that's just a small thing, like whatever.
No, but you know what it is. You know what it is or not?
What?
They know they have so little viewership that they think they can get away with this kind of nonsense, and nobody will pick it up.
Yeah. See, I don't know whether to applaud them for their dedication or to roll my eyes and be like, they are just doing it for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean? They're doing it to cater to their niche audience. Oh, Ian Riccoboni is very important. He must be there. And therefore, we're just going to do all this extra work just to shove his voice inside, even though it's obvious he's not there.
Yeah, and the thing I like about this whole situation is that they are really just powering through it, Like, they know that they are in a lull. It's like, maybe this is their new generation era for AEW. Like, they know interest is at an all-time low. They're trying to kind of keep the ship going. And of course, they have this renewal. They have now money coming through. So, that is the positive. Net positive, there's money going through. You can pay the talent, right? But, bro, it's all about the creative at this point, man.
Bro, I respectfully disagree. I actually think that the big money that's coming in, it's actually going to be very bad for them. And I'll tell you why in just a bit. But before we get to that, you like that a little bit of a tease. We're hanging the fruit there and we're tickling the balls and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And I'll tell you why I feel like this big money deal that's coming in is actually very detrimental to AEW. But we'll get to that in a bit. But before that, though, talking about, paying the bills, let's talk about our good friend and awesome sponsor of the podcast, Hasif.
Yo, Hasif.
Hey.
Are we waiting for the thing to pop up?
I forgot to pull the thing up.
Never mind. I'll do the intro.
Yeah. Talk to us about Hasif because he's an old friend of yours, right?
Yes, Hasif is an old friend of mine. He's an independent financial advisor. He's a lifestyle and fitness enthusiast. If you have seen his social media content, he's all about the fitness. He's all about community, and he's all about this Stay with Hasif series, bro. I was on this Stay with Hasif series, and let me tell you, man, he brings me to all the best stays around in Singapore. We can just shoot the shit, bro. We talk business, and this is why he is our sponsor. He is very, very happy and supportive of promoting communities all over Singapore, not just pro wrestling, bro. But he is very curious about pro wrestling. Did you see my Insta story on him? What did he say, bro? Remember?
I saw. He's like, how to get back into wrestling, like get interested, because he loves the fact that we, as a community, not just two of us, but all us wrestling fans, are so into, like, passionate about this thing, this pro wrestling thing, right? And anytime you have a group of people, a community that's so passionate about something, there is something special there.
Yes, and also I feel that he's very, very attracted to the fact that we are so engaged in the product that we love, the fandom that we love, which is pro wrestling. And this guy say that we talk about wrestling for 1 to 2 hours straight.
Bro.
And I'm like, bro.
Those are rookie numbers, bro.
Yeah.
We've done 3.5, 4-hour podcasts before, okay?
No, that's the thing, right? Like, but one thing he said is correct. We are very geeky about this topic, but he completely underestimated how long we can last on the pod, bro.
We can go. We got that stamina. We go all night. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, talking about wrestling, that's what we're saying. Hey, here's the thing. I'm willing to bet, our nerddom goes deep enough, we could probably have a 1-hour conversation about Marvel right now, and then another hour conversation about, I don't know, what other geeky things you like, bro.
Yeah, and maybe another 1 hour of convincing Hasif to become a wrestling fan, bro. We get him to sit on the pod and react to wrestling stuff. That's like the number one content people want to see, right? Non-wrestling fans react to wrestling stuff, right?
Idea. You know what? I would love to show him like a WWE match and an AEW match, and then see which one he, comes away more impressed with.
Bro, get him to your house. We kidnap him like the Bloodline kidnaps all the members, right? Put him in the house and we will make him watch wrestling, bro. Part of your sponsorship benefit.
There you go. So, all right, guys, if you haven't already, do us a favor. Check out Hasif's, check out his content. Look at this epic slow-mo high rocks. Alamak, Joker lah. This one, the Tama Tonga of the group, bro. Tama Tonga of the group.
Bro, not everyone.
Tonga lower.
Not everyone is Tama Tonga. Okay, you know what's so funny? I think he's a regular at Ground Zero. And I think he knows the owner. So like when we make the announcement post that he's sponsoring us, and the owner was like, yeah, all hail King Hasif. Now I'm like, no, he's the Shane McMahon of the pro wrestling in Singapore right now, bro. He's trying to fund. He's trying to be the dollar bill. So
there you go.
Give him some love there as well, yeah.
Yeah, so drop him a follow on his Instagram. That's Hasif_captures if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify. And there you go. You see this form link right here. You can click on the form. You can fill in the form and have a chat with him,
Yeah,
for what he says as well. The first meetup where y'all chat, no business, nothing like that. He just wants to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I want to ask, you know what I do every week, bro? I look at Hasif's IG profile. Then I look at the mutual friends. I see which one of our listeners follow and never follow him. Then I think to myself, why never listen to Foreign and Mr. Young? Why never listen? He's the guys. He's the reason that we got the bills to pay the bills. You know what I mean?
So do us a favor, drop him follow right now. See, I already following. So there you go. Click that following button. All right. Let's help our boy out as he's helped us out as well. All right. So many things to talk about. And to be honest, like I was very hesitant to even bother watching WrestleDream. But because I was like, okay, WWE right now, we just wrapped up a lot of storylines. Bad Blood is over. Okay, we need to look at the big event that's happening, right? So, okay, we got something to talk about. I didn't watch it live because, like I mentioned last week, I took part in a Marvel Snap Creator Tournament.
Yes, how was that, my brother?
Bro, you know the phrase, there are levels to this game. It applies to every facet of life. Like, you can play a game for funs, right? You can even do content for funs because you're a nerd for the lore. I tell you, bro, card game tournaments are the sweatiest of the sweat. And why you look like that?
I'm waiting for the thing that Anushi to drop.
Okay, fine. So I'm trying to lower your expectations of my results lah. So we played like Swiss bracket rounds. So I played 5 rounds.
Okay.
My record was 1-4.
One win out of 4. Okay.
Yeah. So you know what? Here's the thing. Before I went in, I was like, okay, I haven't actually taken part in a card game tournament in like almost a quarter of a century, 25 years. Last time I did was 25 years ago, Magic the Gathering, right? So I was like, if I get 1 win, I'm happy already. Then Tun, really, the universe was like, okay, you happy, 1 win.
Okay. So you really got exactly what you wished for.
I should have wished for something better, bro.
Oh dear God. Okay lah, can lah. I mean, it's good. I mean, who do you win against? That's the question. If you win against some like their expert one, okay, I respect lah. I still can respect.
I mean, the dude's name is Loopy Fist. He's quite a big streamer on Twitch as well. So that was pretty cool.
Okay,
he's a cool dude.
Nice, good for him. Good for him. So now he must, since you beat him, right? You must take over all his followers.
What?
You enjoy, like a monster, right? I beat you, give you all your followers.
I wish it worked that way, bro. I wish it worked that way. It doesn't quite
Like
work that way.
So
I take your soul is mine.
that's hilarious. Okay, but I'm happy for you. So like, essentially, you basically just lasted this round, lah.
Yeah, I got knocked out, lah. But that said, my 1-4 record was more enjoyable than watching WrestleDream.
Oh my god. we gotta bring it back.
But before we get to WrestleDream, let's just address some of the things that have been put up in chat. Yes, Raw as of last week is 2 hours. No longer 3 hours. I know some people were complaining, they like try to rush everything. I felt it was okay. Like, I don't know why, like, are people just used to 3 hours?
You see, sometimes when you live in shit for too long, right, you learn to like the taste of it. So, guys, 2 hours helps contribute to a very tight show. If nothing else, bro, we do not need to see Pure Vision Collective on our television as often. You know what I mean?
Okay, here's the thing. We've always praised SmackDown for being a very tight, well-run show. 2 hours, just perfect, right? So why is it an issue on Raw? Now, it's not. I think we just got used to a 3-hour Raw. I am perfectly fine with a 2-hour Raw.
Okay, I like the fact that they are making television TV time a premium right now. So you all have to fight to get your scripts or your segments to be on Raw or on SmackDown. And then the rest of you guys, they're just not good enough, or like maybe need a bit more seasoning, aka Pure Fusion Collective. They can stay on NXT, make the NXT roster damn solid. You get what I mean?
And that's the other thing. That's a great point you've brought up, because right now they need to boost NXT's ratings, right? Because it's on the new network. They need to prove their worth, that kind of thing. So have these like crossovers with the quote unquote developmental brand. Because I will say this, and we'll talk about Title Tuesday versus NXT in just a bit. Oh, there's a lot to talk about there. It's a whole thing, right? But I feel like Dynamite on Tuesday probably had better wrestling than NXT, but NXT was a billion times better in terms of star power, in terms of promotion, in terms of production. So basically all the things that get eyeballs lah.
Yeah, it's definitely a more watchable show. And okay, this is us saying as wrestling fans, like, hey, I enjoy going to watch our local wrestling show, sitting down, watching the wrestling matches, right? And if you put me in an indie show somewhere, maybe if I go Australia, Japan, and I've catch both shows in those countries, I can be there and be entertained and enjoy it. But I can't watch it every single week and just sit down and watch. Like to me, people say, oh, watching UFC is so great, entertaining. If you watch it once every 4 months. If you watch people fight and spar every single week, right, the grind of it, it's not fun. Unless you're really knee deep in this shit, right?
Exactly right. So once again, it goes back to a certain Tony Khan booking for only the hardcore fans, and the ratings freaking bared it all out. Do you want to talk about last week's Dynamite rating? Drawing whopping 300. Okay, let me get the exact number. 329,000 viewers.
Ooh. Okay, let's see whether we can make some concessions. Okay, let's try to deep dive into it. It's like, okay, Tuesday is not on their usual time slot.
Sure.
They were preempted, so they didn't go head to head with NXT exactly. You saw that they were actually got a 1 hour overlap, right?
Correct. So the last hour of NXT is the first hour of Dynamite.
And was there a reason why they were pushed away from Wednesday? What was happening on Wednesday?
I believe it was some other sporting event. So this happens every single year. So this is not like once in a while, like once every few. No, every single year it happens. Title Tuesday is a thing, right? So that's the thing. Like, I absolutely get it. It's a different day. But you think, like, every single week, we always say, oh, like 600,000 is probably their core, the hardcore fans, right? Now, looking at this number, their hardcore fan base is truly only 300,000 plus. Because if you are a hardcore fan, you would have gone out of your way to go and watch. And if you look at the number, the rating, they got a bit of a bump when NXT finished, but they still finished poor. AEW still did not manage to retain viewers.
And Mr. Muhammad Daniel said something hilarious because he was saying, like, the best part, I watched every UFC since 2010, And the best part, DX are still running the company. So I'm thinking to myself, right, like when I wrap around my head, right, because I saw the opening segment of NXT, which is the whole DX State of the Union one.
Yeah.
That 3 minutes alone, or how many minutes it was more entertaining or more memorable than anything from Dynamite. That I remember, like I can't remember off the top of my head what happened on Dynamite, but I'm still talking about that Giat, Skibidi, Ohio.
Yes. They got the Riz, huh? It's them doing what they did, because so we get that nostalgia kick, but as old uncles. So it's amusing. It's funny to the kids. And we've talked about how CW is supposed to be geared to a younger audience anyway. The wrestling and the presentation is very much geared towards that. I can see it. I can feel it, because that is probably why I find it a little bit annoying, to be honest. Like some of the stuff really does not land with me, and it's probably an age thing, and that's fine. This is their developmental. I'm just a bit worried that it might get too cheesy in the long run. Yes, go ahead.
Bro, it's not an age thing, bro. Even I cannot with Sexy Red, bro. There's nothing sexy about Sexy Red.
Okay, somebody please explain to me, some of you young guns out there, explain what is the draw of Sexy Red, because she is not sexy.
Maybe that's the conundrum. That's the
joke.
Appeal. That's I don't know. Okay,
I'm damn wretched, but okay. So please call me sexy. I'm a sexy young. Is that how it works?
I know, bro. I have been calling myself sexy to my girlfriend for the last 3 years. She has still not bought it. She hasn't. Okay, but you know what's my favorite part about Sexy Red? It wasn't anything to do with what she did on the stage.
Yeah.
It was an interaction with Randy Orton. Randy Orton actually interviewed her backstage, like an exclusive on YouTube. And that was hilarious because I don't. Randy was trying to be really, really nice, trying to interview her, like, we are hometown peeps and all that. And then he was like, "So sexy. I just wanted to ask." He called sexy like it's her pronoun,
No, her first name. Sexy.
So sexy. So how was it? You were just doing your thing, and then in my head, her doing her thing, just shaking her ass. Why is doing her thing?
A lot of
I don't know, man.
NXT, that episode, last 2 episodes, really felt like the older generation being uncles interacting with the younger generation being the young kids. It's like how we would interact with the Gen Alphas and the millennials, right? So I think it was quite funny, but how often are they going to do that? How often are they going to bring in a Randy Orton, a CM Punk to get that rub, that kind of thing? Obviously, when they are going to go up against Dynamite, of course they'll do that. But next week, the week after, can they maintain the momentum? It'll be interesting to see the drop-off after this week. But
Agreed.
The fact that Dynamite did such a low rating in their what's the one, the show before the pay-per-view, they call it the Go Home Show.
Yeah, their Go Home Show.
It did such a poor number. And
it has to be an exception, because I remember that one time it dropped off to 500K or something. It was so bad, and then they were like, "Nah, this got to be some sort of, like, I don't know, outlier." And then it did bounce back up to a normal. So I do believe this is an outlier. It's just like you said, this actually exposes who is their core audience. 300K, that's their core audience.
Correct, and it's probably dropping by the week because of their booking, their lack of creating stars. And talking about stars, right? You have NXT, who, they're all developmental talent, but you bring in a Randy Orton to give the rub to Javon Evans. Yeah, they didn't quite hit that finisher. He did that big ass spin off the top rope, and then Randy tried to go for RKO. It didn't quite land. Blah blah blah. But that's fine.
It would have been awesome if you did. But we literally can give props for trying, because that's really a difficult thing to do, right? And I just wanted to bring up one more thing that a lot of people gave some sort of criticism to Triple H, saying that, you don't push black champions, that's why you push out Bobby Lashley and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm like, guys, have you seen NXT? Your top star is Trick Williams.
Wow.
You got Booker T doing all the ad-libs like a rapper.
Yeah.
To me, like I think somebody on the comment, probably a black person, said, Triple H is for the culture. Just look at NXT. You know what I mean?
Technically it's Shawn Michaels, but I get it. They're all like buddy. They work together.
Did you see somebody put this video side by side of Shawn Michaels being in charge of NXT, and then that scene from 2006 where DX and Crime Time had this conversation outside.
Yeah.
And then, if you remember clearly, what happened was, I think they were barred from ringside, but then they got tickets from Crime Time, and Crime Time was selling cheap tickets outside the arena.
Yeah.
And then Triple H was like, "Oh, how do you talk to them? Can you talk to them?" And then Shawn Michaels was like, "Don't worry, bro. I speak jive." And then he started talking like a black guy, and then you're like, yo, what's up? Remember this?
No, but that's a very good point you've brought up. I think the NXT show is very much for the culture.
Agree. It's like Wild and Out for wrestling. Like that. So to me, like, I think they are. It's just that it was purely an age thing with Lashley. I feel that maybe Triple H just wants to focus on his younger style, and I think there's something wrong.
And we've talked about it before, bro. We all know that Lashley has every single tool: the athleticism, the body, but he never had the. He always looked like he was faking the emotions. You know, he didn't have the X factor. He didn't have the I don't know. He just didn't have it for some weird reason.
Him. Remember we were talking about this. Him and who's that big ass tall guy? What's his name?
Omos.
Omos.
Almost. Yeah.
He had the smiling problem, right? We were talking about this.
Which Obafemi does not. He can look intense. He can look like a straight up destroyer when he wants to. So Obafemi, who... I don't want to I get why they got Tony D'Angelo to go over, but to me, I wish Obafemi had a much more dominant run.
Yeah. Obafemi is what Ahmed Johnson wish he was.
Yes. Okay, so I wonder if they're going to bring Obafemi, because he lost the North American title, straight up to the main roster.
Ooh, a bit too early, no? A bit too early, right?
I think he can. I think he's good to go, bro.
I want to see Obafemi go do the NXT Championship run though. Like,
Oba versus Trick. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, not until Wesley gets his hands on Trick. I mean, there was this whole Trick and Wesley had a conversation, and then Jey Uso came in and yeeted everything. But what do you think of them pushing Wesley as the potential number one contender?
I like it. You know, I think he has shown a different side of himself in terms of now he's a heel, right? When he was like the ultimate underdog for a very long time. And I think he deserves a chance to shine. And this is NXT after all. It is the place for, people like a Wesley who might not, to be honest, like, I feel like he has a ceiling in the main roster. You know what I mean? Like Intercontinental Champion, US title, ceiling.
Yeah. He basically will take over Ricochet's spot if he goes to the main roster.
Oh my God, don't get me started on Ricochet.
We will talk about Ricochet. We will talk about...
Yeah, okay. So I just want to make one very simple point right now. When we talk about NXT, when we talk about AEW, everything that WWE does right now is cool. AEW just is not cool. I don't know how else to put it. The simplest way to put it, AEW doesn't seem cool. It just seems like this very niche, catered to product that, they don't care if you get it or not. And usually that is a bit of like, you're so outlaw, that's cool. But somehow they made it uncool because they are uncool, because their wing, this is all work shit is not landing.
I get it. There are some people who are gatekeepers, like some fandoms.
Yeah.
And then they take the fun out of the fandom, right?
Yeah.
I kind of feel that that's how it is like when watching AEW, because and I consider myself a very open-minded wrestling fan, right? I'm trying to watch everything. And when I watch AEW, I just kind of get this feeling like it's either you're in with the program or not. The bar of entry is very, very high for AEW. That's why, like, when I was talking to like Hasif and saying like, hey, you want to watch back wrestling again? And he was like, yeah, I'm open to it. What can I watch? And I'm like, let's watch WWE.
Yeah, watch some Bloodline, watch some Drew McIntyre, CM Punk.
Like, it's very easy to follow those stories, right? And sometimes, there are storylines where it's very complex. Like, I was a fan of the Golden Lover storyline. Ibushi and Omega, they fight through all the way from DDT to New Japan to AEW. Like, I love that storyline, but I think a bulk of the reason why I cared so much was how New Japan presented them. Remember, we always talk about New Japan had really great presentation.
Yes. They were like stars, main event guys, right? And not just coming up and having 30-minute bangers with job guys every other week. It devalues the stars.
To me, the closest, like the person who had the who was able to build his aura, like he actually built his aura in AEW. To me, was MJF for sure.
Yep.
And I think to a certain extent, I think Swerve basically built up his aura to the next level in AEW. After whatever happened in Hit Row and everything.
Yeah.
But those are just one or two examples. It's not a system, in
No,
like
it's not.
NXT.
And we've said it ad nauseum. They succeeded in spite of the terrible booking, in spite of the terrible promotion. The cream will always rise to the top, and then those who have the worst ideas, you can see them play out their worst ideas. And it is interesting to see the car wreck lah. Sometimes if you're into that, but for the main audience, this is why their numbers are so low. The main audience is like, I don't get it. I don't want to waste my time. Time is such a premium these days with all the content that's out there, and they're putting up this shit that requires you to do homework. Stop it.
Yeah, man, it's just terrible. I don't know, man. I don't know what was from Dynamite that was memorable or
Bro, nothing. I have to go and pull up Dynamite to see what happened here because I honestly don't remember what happened.
Yeah, actually, no, I can't remember, but
I remember.
Happened. I know
Randy versus Javon. I remember the DX promo. I remember the sexy red. Unfortunately, that's a negative. I remember D'Angelo winning over Oberfemi, even though I didn't like that booking. Like I said, the wrestling is not necessarily better on NXT. They definitely follow a style in NXT, right?
Yep.
But it is their developmental and the promotion and it's just a cool vibe. It's just cool to watch NXT. For the culture, it is cool. AEW is not. It's a chore.
Yeah. And I think with that, you want to segue into WrestleDream? Or you want to talk a bit about SmackDown? Because I do have a couple of thoughts on...
Let's talk about some positive stuff first. Right now, I just had this, and we talked about this before we started the stream, right? WWE seems to be in setting up storyline mode. It's like, when you watch a TV series, the first few episodes set up to the midpoint, midway in the series, then all the big shit happens and then you get your payoff, right? So now we are in the build-up stage. So it does feel a little bit like, okay, not saying nothing is going on, but it seems less less impactful because they are in the build-up stage. Bad Blood actually resolve a lot of storylines.
Yeah, I also feel like, when you're playing WWE 2K and you just blow off a rivalry and it's okay, let's not revisit the rivalry because it's going to be stale.
Yep.
And I think WWE now has a great way of knowing when to kind of end a storyline and move on to the next.
Which AEW apparently doesn't know how to do. Anyway, go on.
I'm happy with whatever there was resolved between Finn and Damien because the Judgment Day are chumps. So they can fuck off. Let Damien Priest move on to bigger and better things. And I also feel like Rhea Ripley, while the Liv Morgan thing is still in the periphery, she still has her issues. But now there's a new target to focus on, which is Raquel, right?
I don't know if you guys saw the clip. I only saw it on Instagram, right? There was a quote-unquote sneak attack with Tiffany Stratton involved as well. I feel like they're setting up Rhea and Tiffany versus Liv and Raquel at some point on Raw or SmackDown. I feel like that's coming up. But that aside, Raquel does a big boot to Rhea and Rhea takes a bump. Did you see this bump?
Yes, I did.
Bro, Tiffany Stratton's heels were in the ring. Right? She literally bumped her head onto the freaking heel. Luckily, it wasn't turned upside down. It was but still, it's painful, yeah. Poor Rhea. Can't catch a break.
All these little things, right, to me hurt more. Like watching somebody kena screwdriver or whack with a toolbox. That hurts me more than
Bro, there's a difference between the screwdriver spot that you're talking about, Don Fallis attempted, which looks damn stupid and shit. And the toolbox, which actually looked good when CM Punk nailed Drew and actually cut him hard way with it.
Yeah. So again, you do not need big, overly extravagant stuff to kind of make a point. You just have to let people's minds wander on the violence, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you had that happen on Raw. Oh, and the budding recruitment storyline. So the bloodline they're starting to bubble up again, right? Roman Reigns is back, but he and Jimmy, they're only two and they get beat down. They don't have the numbers anymore. And so the whole interaction on SmackDown, we need help, bro. And then, Jimmy with the tough love is but you ain't the chief no more, that.
The
You don't
whole
have the
story,
Ruler Fowler
yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
The whole story, I think Jimmy's return, like his first appearance on SmackDown, and it's crazy to think, but it's been 6 months. Talk about
Yeah.
recycling your stars in and
Wow.
out, letting them rest and refresh. Now Jimmy's super interesting. Remember when he finished up with WrestleMania, we were like, oh man, Jimmy sucks, boss.
Yeah, you're right. No, he became a supporting character, right? Now, he's the linchpin. He's going over to Raw. It happened on Raw. And he's trying to recruit back Jay. And Jay is all like, yo, no, don't talk to me, blah, 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 the bad feelings. And now we're going to get this whole like, are they going to get back together? Dude, people are going to start crying when they hug in the ring, when they finally have that reunion. And then who else is also just, kind of wrapped up their little storyline with Gunther, Sami Zayn, right?
Yes.
He had the whole I'm challenging Gunther, but Gunther beat him pretty definitively, right? Choked him out on Raw, right?
Yes, last week on Raw, yeah.
So now Sammy's free to be involved in the bloodline again. And we all remember the fun times they had. We all remember the Uzi. We all remember the the fried chicken at the IHOP, whatever.
The handshakes, bro.
Like, bro, when they finally get together and like hug it out or what, that is going to be such a moment. We're going to see clips of reactions all over social media, and bro, let them cook, man. I'm excited for that.
What is that phrase? They need like a come to Jesus moment. Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
where
come
like
to Jesus.
everyone in the family come and sit down in the middle of the ring, go do some family therapy for the whole world to see. I think that would be a very compelling segment for the bloodline.
I will say this though. I hope they don't do it cinematic style. I think this thing needs to be done in the ring. It needs to have that live audience mega pop when they finally shake hands and hug it out.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we keep forgetting, but the new bloodline has, I think, finally like turned the corner and is like really growing on me. Like, and it's not just the nonsense ticks and characters with Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, right? Like all that is fine and dandy, is funny and all that, but I really feel like Solo Sikoa's finally feels very menacing, or like I think maybe because being back around his family makes him feel comfortable. He can kind of level up his performances. He's finally growing into that role like as the mega heel in this whole scenario, because you need a strong heel, right, for Roman to go against. And that's why when I was thinking about it, Jimmy's first match back against Solo, at first I was like, why did Jimmy lose? He just came back. And I'm thinking like, no, they're keeping Solo strong for this incoming war.
Yeah. And look, as much as we love Jimmy's work, he's not going to be a main player. It's fine for him to have that loss. He's just there as the best supporting actor role. He's there to make the rest of this, pull the rest of this shit together. It's an important role, don't get me wrong. And of course, you still have Jacob Fatu as the monster heel enforcer lah. And you have The Rock, who we don't know which side he's on, what he's doing. He just stand there, raise eyebrow, and F off, right?
Yeah. If one thing I could criticize about the SmackDown segment, right, it's like no mention of The Rock, right? No mention. Like I was thinking like, why didn't Roman like talk about what happened at the end of Bad Blood, right?
Yeah.
But then somebody reminded me like, actually they did mention The Rock in a very subtle way. If you remember what Jimmy said, like you are like nobody's acknowledging you as a tribal chief. I'm the only one that thinks of you as a tribal chief.
Yeah.
Like people were like in the comments like, did he just tease that even The Rock doesn't think he's a tribal chief anymore?
And that's exactly it, right? They said there's only two of them, so Rock is not part of the group lah.
Yes.
That's a very good point. Oh, and I completely even forgot the Wise Man, bro. When the Wise Man comes back, can you imagine that, Pop?
Okay. There's been some wild conspiracy theories of like, what if Paul Heyman returns but then cites his Solo?
Wow, I don't want. I'd rather not.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? You gotta make the new bloodline OP a bit though, right? Yeah. I you know what? If I was watching War Games, I would actually root for the new bloodline to win. Because I don't want them to create the Nexus problem or repeat the mistakes of the Nexus, where the Nexus has all the momentum in the world and it cannot crush by John Cena.
Right. That's true. And the way to do it would be to bring in the Wise Man, and maybe the Wise Man brings in another Fatu, or like Zila Fatu, or one of the other,
younger generation
out there. Like, they have so many at this point, right? And maybe their whole thing is they can really just overwhelm with sheer numbers.
Yeah. And also like to me, if the Bloodline 2.0 wins, like wow, the momentum is capped. They can extend the feud all the way to Royal Rumble, perhaps. But if they were going to lose, the only way they can lose or should lose is if like for some reason like they cannot definitive loss, right? And then like Solo kind of like crawls to the back or crawls to the rampway, and then the Rock appears, and the Rock like, it's okay, my son. Now it's my turn to take over. You know?
Oh yeah, and
Then
then
you know,
of course
yeah.
that sets out Roman Reigns versus The Rock WrestleMania lah.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, all those rumors people were saying like, oh, The Rock is not gonna appear on WrestleMania 41. I think it was Dave Meltzer that reported it.
Yeah,
And then The Rock was like, don't believe any of that bullshit.
I love what Fias points out, and this is like, it goes to the whole cinema aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
How whenever Roman, to this day, when he enters the ring, he will look to his right. Because he always looked at his wise man, and he still does it, but his wise man is not there anymore.
It's hilarious. I like the whole. He really is like a chief without a tribe. Like if you follow it in Japanese terms, he's like a Ronin lah.
Ronin,
He's a
yes.
samurai, right? Without his clan, and he's putting off that vibe, giving off that vibe, like very well. He's delivering in that performance.
It's interesting because, like Irvin says, War Games, I think they'll keep it vague as to whether Jay will appear. Oh, right. What? So then they make it 4v2 and then Jay and Sammy appear. I don't know if they can sell it. It's quite obvious, right? If they sell it as, okay, it's going to be 4 versus 2, then people will be like, confirm Jay and Sammy will come. What? There's no, I don't know if that works.
Yeah.
You know?
I rather they just show all their cards.
Yeah.
And then maybe just keep one wild card, right? Like to me, one wild card meaning maybe let Paul Heyman appear. Like I think that would be interesting. Let Paul Heyman appear and betray the original Bloodline. That would be fun.
The heartbreak though, heartbreak. Prabhu, how you doing by the way? Prabhu says never ending supply of new Fatus. Rikishi is probably making more as we speak. Wow, bro.
Have you seen Ricochet on social media? This guy is like really campaigning for his sons, man, to get more TV time.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know. I just saw something he posted today. Something about like, like just say it to my face or just be honest or something like that. It's like this guy more politician than Paul Heyman, you know.
You got to do it for the Anwar family, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Bloodline is fun. You know, we got the whole situation with Roman and Jimmy, and now I guess Jimmy's on this recruiting journey with potentially Jay and Sammy. Can we talk about the other big segment on SmackDown? Because I think that is something to cook as well.
Okay, which one?
KO.
Oh, yes. So remember last week we talked about how they literally played out this whole angle on social media, right?
Which is, I think, still a brilliant move.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure they had some plans there. Some people with their, WWE employees who would film it in case they didn't get a good fan cam, right? I'm sure that's what they did. But it came off looking like, blurring the lines of kayfabe. The cameras are not on them. He actually go and punch him. Wow, you know? Like, there is still that. We all know it's still a work, but at the end of the day, it makes it look... It is the exact opposite of AEW, where AEW is like hint, hint, wing, wing, haha, we know this is all a joke, right? But this is like, that wasn't supposed to happen. There's still the element of they are really fighting each other, kayfabe, as it were.
Yeah. To me, a good wrestling angle is like a really good movie, right? You get sucked into the story, you forget that you are watching a movie, and you're like, oh, I fucking pissed off with this guy's character, right? So that's what it really is. And again, to me, Kevin Owens had a justified face turn, heel turn, and he said as much, right? He went to the ring, he interrupted the tag team women's segment, which says a lot about the women's titles. And he was like, how is this my fault? Like, Cody's the one that turned on me, right? Like, and then he was trying to speak his truth, and then they cut off his mic, which I love it. Okay, they're gonna make him this renegade, and then he went to the mics, and the announcer said, and then he was trying to, tell his story, and then it brought out Cody. Cody was ready to fight, but then who came out and tried to be the peacemaker? Ironically,
of all people, the voice of reason. He hears voices in his head, and apparently the voice of reason is the only one that can settle it. Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton tried to be the bigger head in this whole situation, trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
But of course, he got hit by an errant elbow to the back.
Yeah.
And that, somebody said, that unleashed 2009 radio all of a sudden.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this triple threat match. They're obviously setting up some sort of triple threat, right? And what, okay, so
okay.
let's talk about this in the long term. What if, right? What if Randy was behind this whole thing altogether, all along? It was Randy all along. Imagine now, you know, in a few months' time, somehow there's footage of Randy whispering into Kevin Owens' ear.
Ooh.
That comes out. Oh, maybe not exactly that, but you know, it was me. I poisoned the well. You know, that sort of a thing. So you get the Randy turn as well. I don't know if they're ready to turn Cody. I don't think so. He's too much of a Cena at this point. Like, you know how they never turned Cena because Cena was the face of the company. He's doing all the charity stuff and appearances, right? Cody is that guy now.
Bro, Cody just turned heel on social media. You didn't see
How what? What do you say?
If all you people on the chat, you all know what I'm talking about. Cody just posted a photo that he was visiting Manchester City's stadium, and apparently WWE and Manchester City's got some sort of partnership going on.
Why is that a heel turn? What's wrong with Manchester City? Other than your football allegiance, why is that a heel turn?
You clearly don't watch enough football.
Okay,
bro,
tell me,
Manchester
bro.
City is the devil right now. They are
Why?
the most hated club. They are more hated than Manchester United when they were champions, bro.
Why? What did Man City do?
No, bro. Okay, first of all, context. So Manchester City, if you
Context.
know, is owned by like a Saudi billionaire, right? Or right, like I don't know, one of the Arab companies. I don't know which one, lah. So they have always had this oil money, and the last decade, the reason why they have been like multiple time champions is like everyone says because they cheat and they overspend their money, blah blah blah, right? So recently they actually got charged by the FA 115 charges of breaching transfer contracts and all that kind of nonsense. Like basically, they've been tapping up players and trying to like, you know, sell them for obscene amount or like illegally, you know, like recruiting players to get them to their team, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So now, the FA is officially like, you know, gonna take them to court to kind of like, you know, bring them to trial for this. So a lot of the other football clubs are like hoping and like, oh shit, they need to get punished because they have clearly not respected the financial fair play, right, in this last couple of years, to strip them of all their titles.
What?
So this is a huge deal. So like if they cannot found guilty, the Pep Guardiola and all the Manchester City championships that they've won in the last 5 years will be stripped.
Wow.
Yeah, erased. So, and they might be relegated, they might be deducted. I don't know what's going to happen. So that's happening in the background. And I don't know when the trial is going to happen. Is it probably end of this year or it's happening soon?
Yeah.
While the Premier League season is happening. So like, it's almost as if like, oh shit. So the fact that WWE is
doing
acting this, everyone was like, wow, Cody turned heel already, bro. Cody turning heel already.
Okay, I get it. Now I get it. See, we needed a little bit more context for people who don't watch football to get it.
Yeah, you see now Fias all going Gunners for life. Irving was like Abu Dhabi. Yeah, bro. Not couple of years, 10 years, bro. 10 years of them match, like doing all this nonsense. Bro.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, Cody is turning heel on social media before we even speak. This is his early test run, but
yeah. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, right now, at least he's quote separated from the whole Bloodline storyline. Bloodline can have their own thing. You have the Cody, Randy, KO thing. Yeah. Could very easily headline one of the big four as well, yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind Kevin and Randy kind of have a one-on-one match at Crown Jewel to kind of like blow off that feud. Let them fight it out. And then somehow Kevin wins and then Kevin convinces Randy like, bro, like, why are you fighting me? We are supposed to be on the same team. The evil guy, the real enemy is Cody Rhodes. And to me, I have a little different thinking of how this will go down. Like I want Kevin to be the one that whispers and convinces Randy to go to the dark side, and then eventually destroy or turn on Cody.
Well, you know, we say all that, right? We fantasy build like that. What's probably going to happen is just going to be a triple threat. So, because all three of them at this point, right, are so well respected and well loved. Randy will be like sort of like the tweener. Kevin Owens will be the out and out heel, and Cody will be the babyface, and they'll all get cheered.
Bro, my favorite matches, you know, in history is like all the triple threat matches at Royal Rumble. You know what I'm talking about? Like there was this one match: Seth Rollins, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, 2015 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I remember we had another really, really good Royal Rumble triple threat match as well. But I love that direction as well. Like if it's Cody defending against those two guys,
yeah,
and then like Cody for some reason, like, was getting along with Randy, and then Randy suddenly becomes the heel Viper in that match. Oh, that's gonna be wild.
Like what? He nails him with the RKO and wins the title.
I'm a big fan of like actually Cody losing the title before WrestleMania. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
That will really turn things on its head. But I also feel like Cody should still, the right business decision would to keep Cody on top all the way to WrestleMania. Cody just about survives that match, but then Randy turns post-match.
Okay, I see what you're cooking. Because talking about what you're cooking, we still have Cody and The Rock at some point that needs to happen, that needs to resolve. So,
my question to you is, Cody and Rock, should it happen before WrestleMania?
I feel like they could just drag it out till after like WrestleMania 242.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, to your point as well, like right now, WWE is so good at telling, because of TKO and all that stuff, right? They're so good at telling long-term storylines. They are set, and they're so good at recycling their top stars. Everybody is a top star. When they go away for 6 months, they come back, immediately inserted into the picture and portrayed as somebody you should pay attention to,
Yeah,
So now, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, they're going to go and disappear for a while, sell their injuries, and thank God, Punk comes out and he's like all fucked up. I don't even know if I can be back, blah, blah, blah. That's how you sell a Hell in a Cell. Exactly. You don't just come the next day, oh yeah, all right, cool, that was a cool match. Now I'm going to have a 30-minute banger on the show, on the TV. Like, what the, you know what I mean?
So No, I completely agree, right? And the fact that, like you said, Punk and Drew goes away to rest, right? And then just nice, Seth Rollins return, and he's going to start his feud with Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
And that will take up the TV time on Raw, replacing Drew and Punk as they rest.
Yeah.
And then not only that, Seth Rollins brings out and makes another star in Bronson Reed.
Yeah, so that's the hope, right? That Seth Rollins makes Bronson Reed a star. So now you have another star to, in the future, go up against Gunther, to go and play with somebody else. So just everything is just running perfectly for them. Right. I mean, not everything. Okay, to be fair, there's still like, the Pure Fusion Collective. There's still the Wyatt Six. I don't know what's going on.
There's still whatever Bailey and Naomi is doing.
Yeah. So not everything. But the good stuff is good enough that it completely like makes up for the stuff that's not working.
Yeah. And I used to say that about AEW, right? Like, to me, there was like, even when AEW was at its hottest, right? In 2021, my opinion, that was their zenith. Like, when it was good, it was so good. Like, do you remember CM Punk and Eddie Kingston's talking segment? Like, holy shit, I was like, damn. And then now that Eddie Kingston was a star to me, right?
Yes.
But again, like, those bright spots, they are not there anymore.
No. Where is Eddie Kingston? What happened to him?
No, he got injured when he got dropped on his neck or something, remember? During a New Japan match.
AEW stars, AEW wrestlers, pro wrestlers, they are not superstars. Like, by any stretch of the imagination. They go away for 6 months and they come back colder than ever. They go away because they kinda injured and not because they are selling an injury.
Can we talk about WrestleDream? Because that's exactly what I want to discuss when it comes to returning stars.
Before we get to WrestleDream though, we want to give a shout out once again to our lovely sponsor. This episode, of course, brought to you by Hasif. A good friend of yours, an old friend of yours actually. He's a full-time financial consultant. Also, the founder of Katoshka, the fries that you find at the bazaars.
Of course. I'm a fan.
Yes. So, like we said, right, he's an independent financial advisor. And here's the thing. What he specializes in is optimizing and giving second opinions on people's financial portfolio. So if you want to review or even start on your financial portfolio, feel free to reach out to him. But here's the thing, right? Like, on the first meeting, it's all about the vibes. It's no selling. It's all about the vibes and, see if you guys can chill like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, correct. Bro, treat him like how Jim Cornette will treat TK, right? You take that meeting, right? But then you realize whether it's worth it or not, huh? But then whether you sign NDA after that is up to you, right? But you don't have to sign on the spot. Like, Jim Cornette, he's like, he meet TK, he listens to what he say, and he's like, right? But if you vibe with him,
or maybe if you're like Mercedes Moné, you meet TK and say, hell yeah, we vibe. We put the pen down to paper, let's go. And everyone prospers for that.
Yeah, correct. So like, talk to him. If you want a second opinion on your financial portfolio, talk to him. If you are interested in doing small businesses, because he is a successful small business owner. And also talk to him if you're interested in lifestyle and fitness. And I talk to him because I'm trying to get him back into pro wrestling, bro, because I want him to kind of experience what the local wrestling community is all about. And I'm trying to, arrange his schedule, because clearly a busy man, right? And to see whether he can come to one of those shows. So if any of you local wrestling promotions that's listening to the podcast, whether it's SPW, Grapple Max, Ring or Rebirth, please welcome our VIP to the show, because I want him to experience local wrestling, pro wrestling firsthand. Who knows, man? We might convert another longtime fan back into wrestling as well.
Absolutely. Drop him a follow, guys, on Instagram right now. That's HASIF_captures, okay? In the meantime, let's get to the meat of the matter. Let's get to WrestleDream. Oh, I had to watch this in 3 sittings, by the way. There was absolutely no way I was going to watch this in one setting, because it's a drag. It's good value for money. I'm not going to dispute that. You get a F ton of matches. But I don't know if it's this particular card as well. I felt like every match had tables. Every match had ringside shenanigans. There was no like wrestling match. Every match had everything, so everything meant nothing.
Well, one positive is there wasn't any bleeding on this pay-per-view, which I was highly surprised.
Right, considering that Jon Moxley was in the main event, no bleeding was a shocker, right? Yeah, true. Yeah. But there was everything else.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's set some context, right? So AEW WrestleDream happened on in Singapore time on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
And I woke up early. I was like, okay, WrestleDream, I'm free this morning. Let's check it out. Yeah. And I was texting on our Discord. If you guys haven't followed us on our Discord, please follow. That's where all the wrestling conversations happen beyond the podcast. And I was asking everyone, like, hey, yo, WrestleDream right now. Anyone watching?
Crickets.
I didn't hear a single reply until after the show finished, bro. So I knew I'm in for a solo watch. So I'm not gonna lie. I was half asleep watching the show, and I probably fell asleep right about the time when the show got worse. Like so that's my like early overall thoughts, right? Like I actually thought the show started strong. Like the matches at the beginning did catch my eye, was compelling.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, it just fell apart. So that and then like I thought the main event was gonna save it, and we'll talk about that after that.
All right, we're not going to talk about the pre-show stuff because there were a whole bunch of matches as well. Once again, I'm pretty sure if you bought a ticket and you went there, you got your money's worth. You enjoyed yourself, right? And that's the other thing too. Like you forget about don't think about the regular like the PLEs or pay-per-views, right? The fact that they're not selling tickets to their weekly shows is a problem. Declining viewership is a problem. And I remember I wanted to tell you why I think that big money deal is a bad idea.
What?
Because once again, this big money deal, we've talked about it before, right? The $170 million a year that AEW is getting paid. They essentially got it not because they are putting on a great product that's hot. They got it because of business dealings. They got it because Warner Brothers, WBD, they lost the NBA, so they still need that sports franchise. So now they get it on the Max as well. So to them, maybe it might be value. Don't forget, this is the company that put out Joker 2. Anyway, have you watched Joker 2, by the way?
I'm not planning to watch Joker 2.
Bro, I fell asleep twice during the movie. I love Lady Gaga. I think Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic actor. I think they just went way too shooks in Deary on this one.
You watched it once only, right?
Bro, I watched it once. I fell asleep twice.
Oh wow! I thought you watched it. When you fell asleep twice means you watched twice.
No, I fell asleep twice during the movie. I was like,
oh dear God. Okay.
And then usually my wife is the one that falls asleep in superhero movies because she doesn't really give a shit about superhero movies, right? Like she can fall asleep in watching Avengers, that kind of thing, if she's tired. Okay. Like I'm usually the one like, oh shit, yeah, let's go, bro. Joker 2 was not it. Fall it a bit.
Bro, how you want to, oh shit, let's go on the courtroom drama?
No, that's the thing. 80% of the movie was a courtroom drama with musical interludes in between. And I love musicals. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah,
but
I agree.
It was painful. And I think that was the point. I think.
if you want to watch a great movie this week, right? And,
Mm.
and I'm gonna segue and promote something that I never usually promote, bro.
Wow.
Last week I was in Thailand and I was in Bangkok, right?
Mm.
For like very quick getaway because it's my birthday month, bro. I went to freaking Siam Paragon, went to their IMAX with their 5-story high freaking TV screen, and I had a choice. Do I watch Joker Foliadu or do I watch the brand new Thai horror film that just debuted on their cinemas called Death Whisperer 2? Because Death
Okay.
Whisperer 1 is already on Netflix, and I highly encourage every motherfucking Asian horror film fan to go watch that first one on Netflix because it's available, and then fucking find a cinema in Singapore because I hope that they are showing this Death Whisperer 2 because that's the craziest shit I've seen since Shutter.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Okay. You know, I'm a huge fan of horror. I know Fias Grinder in the chat. He loves it. So he does a horror podcast on Twitch, by the way.
Awesome.
So, Fias, that means you confirm you watched this Death Whisperer show before, right?
Yeah, you better watch that shit or I better check it out, man. Wait, like he said,
he said, wah.
Wait, he said I fell asleep to what? Joker or Death Whisperer 2? If not, I take
Joker. Yes, Joker. Not Death Whisperer 2. That was a very old comment. But yeah. Okay, thank you for the recommendation. I'll definitely check it out. I've been playing a lot of horror games. I mean, it is Halloween month. I've been playing Until Dawn. Silent Hill 2 Remake just came out, so I'm playing that on Twitch. Quick plug for my Twitch channel. I am streaming on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays now.
Yeah, man, bro. All the horror stuff that you should do. I'm actually very curious why no I'm sure there's Japanese horror games out there, but like why nobody like went and rounded all the Asia's scariest ghosts and make it into like a franchise horror game series?
No, bro. We don't need a ghosts or supernatural cinematic universe, bro. You know, remember Universal tried that shit with the Mummy? Franken, and it just flopped hard.
It was terrible. No, because those are Western horror ghosts, bro. They need Pontiana and the what's the jumping ghost from China?
The Jiangsi lah, basically. Hey, they tried Ju-On versus The Grudge. Or is it?
Really?
The Ringu versus Ju-On. Yeah. It was it was bad. It was cheesy as F.
Yeah.
They tried, bro. It didn't work.
No, don't need to go all out into the cinema, but just make a game. Okay, why is there no Pontiana horror game on PS5, bro? Like I want to take control of Pontiana and like fly everywhere and scare man.
Play Dead by Daylight. You can you play Dead by Daylight. You play the nurse and then pretend they want Pontiana. Can.
Okay, can. I have been silently hinting to my girlfriend to get me a PS5 for my birthday. So if that happens, I'm gonna re-download my WWE 2K24 and I'm gonna download some horror games.
Let's go
for Halloween. Let's go.
Very nice.
Okay, that was a fun segue. Yes.
Now we come to the true horror. That is WrestleDream. But before we start, I didn't see it happen live. I saw the clip and Irvin brought it up just now. The Inoki chant. Okay. Tony Khan needs to stop it. Tony Khan...
Wait, he tried to get people to say Inoki.
No. Okay, you guys in chat who know better about Inoki and Japanese wrestling. I think he has a specific chant. It's like Ishni-san, like it's 1, 2, 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
He says something in Japanese. And Tony Khan came out and tried to rah-rah the crowd to do the Inoki chant. The crowd didn't know what the fuck the Inoki chant was. So it was like this awkward, like, he knows because he's such a nerd about it, but everybody else is like, what do you want us to do? And then so after a few times, then the crowd started like, oh, okay, we get it. Come, let's sing along to this Xiao Lang. I'm like, oh, it was so cringe, bro. Go out of your way to go and find it. It is the cringiest thing ever.
Was this on the pre-show?
Yes, it was on the 0 hour or whatever they call it.
Okay,
thank goodness. But it's I saw like on social media, he's like standing there and then like making announcements. Like the guy needs to stop. I know this is his lifelong dream. He's a millionaire funding his pet project, but he is bad for TV. He looks terrible. He sounds terrible. You know, he just sounds like a kid who's like, oh.
I think we all need to learn to be very self-aware in life, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, like I did one wrestling match, one and done, and I know, okay, that's my ceiling, that's my limit. I'm not gonna be the next Randy Orton. That's fine. Tony Khan is not gonna be the next Vince McMahon. To me, if Shane McMahon was the one running AEW, he would be way more legitimize AEW even better.
You mean as an authority figure lah? Not just running, but you mean also running things in the back? Actually, he'd probably be better, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a low bar, but no. Like to me, appearances are everything in pro wrestling, especially a TV sport, right? Like even if you do not look like super imposing like a Vince McMahon, sure, but you gotta have some sort of vibe where, like, I don't know, like you're cooler.
Yeah, no, that nothing about TK is right. He is literally an annoying rich kid. He is literally that. Every fan who knows now knows, oh, this is the annoying rich kid. Like, yeah, he's putting our favorite wrestlers, all the indie wrestlers together, but it's okay, you know what it is? It's like that rich friend that you put up with because he's rich and buys you shit, but you don't actually respect. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Not because I'm rich, but I've met this kind of people, bro.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But he's trying so hard to get everybody's admiration and love when all he just needs to do is stay in his lane as opposed to try to be this thing that he's not.
Yeah. And the cool thing is I feel like while AEW has had its ups and downs and now they are currently on a downturn, I always believe that there's something that can reinvigorate the product, but we know for a fact, right? It's like a Vince McMahon problem. Remember, we always say, like, things will only get better when Vince McMahon is dead. I mean, CM Punk said that.
Yeah.
And it has come to pass. It is the truth. Like, we all saw it. We all acknowledge it. Yeah, Vince McMahon needs to go away. Then the product could flourish. And it happened.
Yep.
Now everyone's starting to say, like, okay, Tony Khan's the problem. We need to remove Tony Khan. Like,
but he's not going away anytime soon. And the second he goes away, then there's no more money because he's a billionaire funding this pet project. Oh, let's get back to my point. I completely forgot about my point. Why I think that this big money deal is actually bad for AEW. Because it reinforces all his bad behavior, all his shit booking. He's going to be like, so what? Hey, look, they renewed, so I must be doing it right.
Yeah.
No. You know what I mean? Like, he's the rich kid who doesn't understand the value of trying to hustle. The difference, it's arguable point. Like, Vince McMahon literally got his company from his dad. So technically he was also a rich kid. But I think Vince was forged in the fire of competition during the territory days. He didn't have billions of dollars to hire everybody. He wasn't poor by any stretch of the imagination, but he actually had to fight a lot harder than Tony Khan is right now. Tony Khan he's a billionaire. He's getting these deals done and he's spending on these ridiculous contracts like water. So of course he needed to get a better contract. If not, like, you know what I mean? The amount of money he's getting has gone up, yes. But we don't know what his costs are. And I doubt his costs have gone down. His roster is ballooning like nobody's business. And the most effed up part is none of them is over.
Yeah.
He has a huge ass roster. Nobody's over. Ticket sales are dropping. Attendance is dropping. They've hit an all-time low record with viewership. What do you think will happen in 3 years' time if this trend continues? Do you think WBD is going to look at it and go, okay, yeah, sure, we'll resign? No.
Bro, you know what's the solution or not?
What?
Bringing back Rico to face Billy Gunn. So good to me. But you see that?
Yeah, I did. Look, if Tony Khan actually got a worse off deal, I think it might have been a better thing for him because it would have been a wake-up call. Yes, and
agreed.
It would have been a slap across the face. Hey, you better buck up. If not, you're not going to get another deal. But no, now he gets what he wants and he'll just continue down this path. And in 3 years' time, we will see what happens. That's why I think it's actually worse that he got this deal. Yeah.
Jason said Jimmy Jacobs left his creative job. There is a job vacancy. Let's go and apply and book AEW.
Thank God. Hey, Jimmy Jacobs, wasn't he the guy that used to book and write stuff for Chris Jericho and stuff like that?
Chris Jericho, Ring of Honor. He apparently was good friends with CM Punk in WWE. But apparently he was credited with the learning tree gimmick, so maybe it's not such a bad thing that he left.
Yeah, exactly, right. Maybe somebody else will come in and do something about it. But it doesn't even matter if they got a really good creative writer in, right? So it's just going to impact those people that will work with him or her.
Yeah.
Because you know how AEW is run. People will do
yeah.
whatever they want because Tony Khan is not a leader. And we've said this before. Ultimately, that is problem. Okay, come, let's get to WrestleDream.
Yeah, okay. So finishing up with the pre-show, we saw Rico return, Chip Pop, maybe that was just for the crowd, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We saw Brian Cage become the Ring of Honor television champion, beating, as you mentioned last week, who the fuck is Atlantis Jr., but he beat him.
I mean, it's ROH. We don't watch ROH, so maybe, he is a somebody.
Nobody
Energy.
watches ROH,
Yeah. Energy beat Harley Cameron. Remember when Energy and Harley Cameron, we were like, hey, got potential, huh?
Are you talking about energy? Because I definitely didn't say that about Harley Cameron.
Okay, fine. Energy, yes, Energy.
Energy has actually been doing. Did you see she went on an excursion in Japan? So she's been putting in the reps. Like, okay, if AEW lets the stars do that, like, okay, get your reps, get your practice in other indie promotions, work the tours and all that kind of stuff, that's fine. But then, like, gotta showcase in AEW. They gotta have an idea and a plan for energy in AEW, right?
Which we all know they have no idea how to book lah. Huh?
Yeah.
Then, like you mentioned, Acclaimed versus MXM collection. Okay, I'm happy that they are, they're there and they have a place to do their work. Yeah.
Yeah, Mansoor and all that, that's fine. But like, talk about the Acclaim. I mean, like, talk
Why?
about no, exactly. Like what the fuck happened to the Acclaim? But yeah, that's
their fall off was so big, like it needs to be studied. Actually, no. This is same about everything. Ricochet at this point has already fallen off. Okay, let's get to the main card proper. Jay White, Hangman Page.
Making stars. I don't know. I don't want to say like a very sweeping statement because it's like a bit too grandiose.
No.
Think about it this way, right? This time last year, AEW WrestleDream was the first match between Hangman and Swerve. At that point in time, Hangman was the established top or biggest star, right?
Yep.
And I think that feud actually built up, Swerve to where he is right now. I have a feeling like they're using Hangman to kind of build up Jay White. And I thought Jay White came off looking really, really good in this match. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I think that's because Jay White is a talented wrestler. His promos a bit all over the place sometimes, but by and large, if you give him time in the ring, I think it's fine, right? And I think Adam Page is so dislikable right now, and I don't mean in a good way too. Like, him and Jack Perry are essentially the same thing. If you think about it, there are these like disgruntled, I don't even know how to put it. Angry guys.
They got the CM Punk rub.
Yeah, the negative CM Punk rub.
The CM Punk stamp of disapproval.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, I don't know, man. To my point earlier, this match, there was ringside shenanigans already. I can't remember if there were tables involved, but I'm pretty sure there was. Or some sort of,
No, not
objects.
yet. Not yet.
No?
No, not yet. But Hangman was being incredibly annoying looking. I think it's something about that mustache, bro. I know he tried to level up his, he looks more rugged or like more badass, trying to look more badass. But like, you're right, like he gives us such, I'm annoyed by this guy, that Jay White was the de facto babyface, even though he was playing the heel for the longest time.
Yes, yeah. And what was the point of this match anyway? Did they have an issue?
So Jay White and this is like digging way back if you really follow the product, right?
Okay, no. If I have to dig, then no. It
No.
does not count.
Jay White and Hangman Page, their last match was for the Owen Hart Classic, the semi-finals, I think. Yeah. And Jay White got injured, or Hangman Page injured Jay White, took him out of commission. So I think he's returning from the injury angle to get revenge, kind of thing.
Okay, so you got that, sure. Yeah, like I said, not a bad way to start the show, but ultimately, whatever lah. To me, not there.
To me, these are two guys who actually have potential with proper guidance, can be pillars of AEW. Like, they all have the tools, right? Like, wrestling wise.
What proper guidance?
That's also the question. That's the next question, right?
Well, and we know that Hangman Page will not take advice. He doesn't want to listen to advice from veterans. We all know that already. So it's like, okay, then you're going to stay at your level then. All right, Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. This, we already said for many, many months, we said that that's the match that need to have, right? So why did this match feel so flat?
Because there is not the right story behind it. Like, to me, Willow, we always say most natural baby face
Yep.
on the female side that they have in AEW. She can definitely be a star, or she's getting there. Mariah May, everything that she did to turn on Tony Storm, get the victory, that was awesome. I thought, she deserved to be the champion running going forward, and she's a young star that they are investing in. Good for them. But again, like, she was beating nobodies. Like, I don't know, did she beat Hikaru Shida or like?
She beat
Some-
some Japanese schoolgirl. That one, what's that one? Yuka Sakazaki.
Yuka Sakazaki, like a bunch of random people. To me, that was like, this
No
is
point.
just AW lining up random people for her, right?
Yeah.
Instead of wasting all that time, they should have built up this story between Willow as like, okay, I've been, trying to chase for a title all this while.
Yep.
And I'm trying to rebuild myself. And then, like, it's such a clear thing. Mariah May is this beautiful girl who's the popular that everyone loves and loves to hate and that kind of stuff. And
They can look. They want to be super progressive and go into like bag suffocating, right? Like, how hard is it for Mariah May to weight shame Willow, to to be a bitch basically to Willow, and then really get people against her?
Yeah.
Watching this match, it felt like this was an indie match, one and done, no storyline. Didn't it felt very definitive, right? Mariah May pin Willow Nightingale. That's it. No real like weird shenanigans, and the crowd was on Mariah May's side. I don't know if you noticed this, but they were actually cheering for Mariah May because she was doing the Tony Storm stuff. Like, you have this situation where the crowd doesn't even know what to do with it. They just look at Mariah May. Oh, she hot, she beautiful, she got some kind of aura to her. All right, they're starting to cheer the heel. Like, huh?
Yeah, I know it's a low-hanging fruit, but like, let Mariah May be a dick and like criticize, like make all those like superficial remarks about Willow Nightingale. And it can be like the Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss storyline again lah. But told in a way that we all love Willow Nightingale, so we will take it to heart, like offense, like, hey, how dare you make fun of her? She's actually a nice girl.
Yeah. So it's once again, you are not giving us any stakes, any emotion. It's just a match that's happening, and probably will go nowhere.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Mariah May is a bona fide star. Just look at her. She's a star.
Yes, but why is there no heat behind the things that she does at this point in time? And Willow also, like, again, these are two people with the right guidance. Okay, so maybe why I enjoyed the first two matches a lot was because all four I know have potential in them, and all four I know should be bigger stars than they are right now, or should have better storylines than they are given right now. And maybe that's why, like, I could kind of enjoy the match knowing that they are all four are great talents.
So you watched it like you were watching an indie show. You are watching it you're not watching it like, oh, there's something to anticipate next week and the week after. That's what WWE is doing. AEW is not doing that. Every show is essentially an indie show with slight storyline progression, but for the most part, it's like, see, here's the thing, and this pisses me off, right? A lot of the times when we go to local wrestling, for example, it is a matter of rosters are small. So you and sometimes your face is a heel or a heel is a face. I get it, right? You have to work with what you have, given the industry. They have a roster that's so bloated, AEW that is. There is no reason why they don't have like proper storylines and long-term storylines that they can cycle their stars in and out. And instead, you're booking it like an indie show where you're just throwing together dream matches. Oh, these two would look good together in a match. Let's make this 2 out of 3. What the fuck?
Like AEW, I can list down like 10 great wrestlers, right? But in WWE, I can list down 10 popular superstars.
Ticket sellers, money drawers at this point.
Yeah.
Yes. You put Jay White, I'm sorry to say this, but you put Jay White on the poster in North America, I don't think he's selling that much. You put Jack Perry on the poster, no.
You put LA Knight, main event of SmackDown against Andrade, people will actually buy tickets.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Everybody there is a star.
I would say
Watashi wa star.
I was just about to go to a segue of Andrade it's now to me more over in WWE as a mid-carder than he was ever in whatever he's doing in AEW. So
100%.
Tough.
Oh, and that's the other thing that really pissed me off about this show as well. Almost every match had people kicking out of finishers. That pissed me off. I'm like, it's one thing if it's only the main event. Once again, if it happens in every match, then it's not special anymore. And
Yes.
somebody, Tony Khan, needs to be like, all right, you mofos, stop doing that. Only 1 or 2 key matches can have people kicking out finishers. You know? And not just finishers, but like devastating moves. Oh my God, we'll get to that shit in just a bit. Let's talking about shit. Jack Perry versus Shibata for the TNT Championship.
I think this was
no cells. Yeah.
this was probably about the time I fell asleep, like the first go around. Again, Jack Perry professes himself to be a badass, right? He's trying to carry himself like a badass, and like he's all cool with all his gimmick and blah blah blah. His belt, which admittedly is one of the coolest things that AEW has going right now. That whole look of the belt's cool, right?
What about his van, bro? What about his
black
like scapegoat van?
Scapegoat van that looks like a pedo's
van
weapon of choice.
Oh God!
But the moment he comes out of the ring, he opens his shit, right? Like
nope.
And he's a small child.
Yeah, so at least Hangman has a bit of size to him. He looks like, okay, this looks like a lunatic mofo, right? Like you're like, whoa. Jack Perry looks like you could take him out. I'm sorry to say that, but it looks like I could take him out.
Can you don't insult me? I definitely can take him out and more than that, right?
Oh,
come.
Wow.
Hey, I could handle myself with the Lady Killer. I mean, Lady Killer, I think.
Oh, sure.
Definitely a better wrestler, I think, than
Jack Perry. You just need to choke him out a little bit. Choke him a little bit.
Just choke.
Just choke him a little bit. Okay, I did not enjoy this match. I probably didn't pay attention.
My face was Shibata the whole time. Like I felt like I was like Shibata, like because he was trying to do all these kicks to Shibata and trying to beat him. Shibata was like, this little boy, you try.
See, okay, I also didn't like that. Because it's not like Shibata is like, for example, if Shibata was the size of Bobby Lashley or Konosuke Takeshita, for example, then yeah, fine, you no-sell it because this is a little kid trying to punch you, right? But I don't know, this whole like no-sell gimmick is done to death. It's like Shibata does it, Ishii does it, the other
Suzuki.
It's not, if everybody does it, then it's not special anymore.
Yeah. I wish Shibata wrestled a bit more like Chris Benoit. Like I feel like, his injury, which was quite catastrophic, and I'm glad he recovered from it. Like it's the same situation where Chris Benoit kena broken neck from Sabu in ECW, where kena drop on his head, right? Like that was a scary thing. But then Paul Heyman, being the genius that he is, turned that whole injury into an angle and rechristened Chris Benoit the Crippler.
So he made it his thing,
because the Chris Benoit returned to inflict damage on Sabu and like broke his neck back, right? The point I'm trying to make, and maybe my history is a bit wonky, but the point is they turned that into making him a very menacing character, and then from that onwards, the way he wrestled and all that showcases his like craziness in a way. But Shibata is like a guy who took this devastating injury, and now he's like, okay, I can tahan all this pain. I'm impenetrable to pain because I can drop on my head.
He is the Google Translate guy. That's his gimmick, and he's quiet and like you could even go so far as to concoct some storyline about how his injury made his nerves dead, so he can't actually feel pain. Has anybody done that gimmick before? Actually,
I don't know. That sounds like a cool gimmick.
Yeah, like somebody who has been injured so much that his nerve endings don't feel pain anymore. I feel like that's a superhero.
Oh my God.
Kick-Ass. Do you remember the movie Kick-Ass?
Yeah. But I think, I don't know whether Kick-Ass did that, but
was it Kick-Ass?
Bro, if I was a wrestler and I had that gimmick, the only way I can defeat him, right? And this is my Vince Russo brain working right now. Imagine you're the babyface and you're this impenetrable guy, and the only way you can bring down his defenses is to have the heel have a seductress seduce him. So
to lay on his back.
No, while he can't feel pain, he can feel longing.
But he can feel pleasure.
That's why we destroy him from there. We destroy him with over pleasure.
Look, if your nerve endings are short, you can't feel pain, but you can still get injured. You can still have a break. You can still get knocked out. So
but you just can't feel anything.
Yeah. So like if you get powerbomb, shit is probably going to get all effed up, but you just don't feel it, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, I do not enjoy this so-called Japanese strong style nonsense. It's overdone at this point, and nobody was over here. Like Jack Perry, nobody was over. Like there was no boo, there was no cheer, it was nothing. He's not over.
You gotta understand, this guy beat Darby Allin in a coffin match at Allin. This guy challenged for the world title on the last pay-per-view in All Out. And here he is on the third match where nobody cares.
Yep. No, that's exactly it. And talking about Darby Allin, at least, okay, it seems like they are setting him up for something else, lah. Because the match that he's in here on this card also like, what's the point? Anyway, let's get to the next match. Three-way match for the AEW International Championship. Okay, here we go. Konosuke Takeshita, Will Ospreay, and Ricochet. Let's start with the positives. The right person won, right? The right person won, right? Konosuke Takeshita is getting, unfortunately, as a heel, he's getting cheered, but okay, whatever. Like, he's getting a reaction. People like him. He looks the part. He is menacing. He's the alpha, quote unquote. This is the right thing to do.
Takeshita to me is basically a Tanahashi regen at this point, right? He can be the ace in Japanese wrestling. Like, he got it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, you were saying.
Let's talk about the match itself. And we've gone on and on about flippy shit. And this is when it gets like, you saw the spot with the Poison Rana, no sell, Poison Rana, no sell. Like, at some point you're like, what the fuck am I even watching?
As Jason says, it's called the premature ejaculation match.
Just over and over and over again. Look, these guys are incredible athletes, incredible acrobats, but at no point do you build tension by no selling shit, you know?
I don't know. To me, no selling is when, okay, it only works for Hulk Hogan because it was his gimmick, and it's supposed to be at the climax of the match, right? When it changes the momentum. You gotta sell, because if you do not sell, then why should I be worried for you?
Yeah. No, and that they kicking out of like devastating head drop type finishers, right? And once again, it's okay if it happens in only one match. It happened throughout several matches in the night. People were kicking out of finishes or stolen finishes, devastating moves that looks like it could cripple a person, right? People just kicking out. At what? Oh, and that's the other thing. For some reason, the kick out at one was another thing that happened multiple times in this card.
Again,
kick out at one to big finishes.
It's amazing if it's just one person did it in the entire night.
If one person did it in the entire year, then it's something. Suddenly, people are kicking out of it. Oh my god, that was the thing that just pissed me off the most.
Okay, one of my favorite sellers of all time, right? To me, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Because if you watch Shawn Michaels after his injury return from 2002 to 2005, right? Bro, that Shawn Michaels every day, like, I think he died, you know? Like, Evolution just killed him. I remember there was one time he kena handcuffed to the ring. He was bloody. He died, essentially. Like,
no, every match, every time he was put in that position, you felt like, hey, this is too far. His neck, hey, bro, we know the history, right? So it is probably what happened, but, you know, he's also working it as well. There's always that sense of, oh shit, I care for you. I did not care about any of these three people, unfortunately.
Bro, a simple, you know what Shawn Michaels used to do, right? They whip him into the corner, he flips against the corner, and then he always touches his back. And then we all like, oh yeah, he always got that career-ending back injury.
Yeah.
Freaking Triple H just sledgehammer him. We were like, oh fuck, he's dead. You know?
No, okay, more recently, Randy has been doing that, right? Sell more, take less bumps. These guys are like, no, we want to, and grow, good for you. This is not pro wrestling. This is acrobatics. This is Cirque du Soleil.
To me, the best part about this match was Takeshita slowing things down. Like,
yes.
Takeshita stopping them from doing their nose and then, you know, slamming them.
But here's the other thing. They couldn't leave it well alone enough. You had to have Kyle Fletcher come in, do the very obvious turn. And again, this is not the first obvious turn. This is not going to be the only first obvious turn of the night. All right. So you had Kyle Fletcher coming to do the turn and the what was that? The ice pick,
screwdriver.
the screwdriver to the back of the head, which I was like, bro, like if there was ever a spot that required blood, that would have been it. Like,
bro, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about that part? Do you realize the announcers botched the reveal of Kyle Fletcher? Do you realize?
Oh, as if somebody said it's Kyle Fletcher early.
The moment he ran into the ring and his head was still covered by the hoodie. Oh my god, it's Kyle Fletcher. And then suddenly, I think Excalibur was trying to
is it?
and salvage it.
I think Tony was the one who screwed it up. Tony Shibata.
Yeah. She screwed it. And he even opened the thing and they were like, oh my god, it's Kyle. It's Fletcher. I'm like, hey, fuck lah. You can't even do that correctly. And again, that screwdriver spot, they whack him in the back. He's supposed to be dead, right? He should be dead. But no. Willow was on his knees looking up like,
bro, like, yeah, exactly, right? It's like, don't do a spot that makes the product look fake. By anybody's knowledge, when you hit somebody with the sharp end of a screwdriver, they die. you know what I mean?
They die.
Like,
they die.
I hate the screwdriver spot. It's so unnecessary. It's so absolutely unnecessary.
To me, they I don't know whether was it Punk or Drew used the screwdriver in the Hell in a Cell. I remember. Oh no, was it a spanner? No, they used a spanner.
Spanner.
Yeah, but again, they struggle to touch or grab the spanner. Yeah. And then once they kena, they whack them to get out of a hole or a submission. There's a thought process behind it, right?
Yeah. This is just I'm using something that looks dangerous for the sake of doing it because it's a screwdriver, right? Like it's like this was the fake cherry on top of a fake cake. This entire match looked like some choreographed shit, and you top it off with some convoluted finish with some more fake shit. To me, just ruined the whole match. Imagine if this was you got the flippy shit match between Will Ospreay and Ricochet. You have Konosuke Takeshita slowing things down. You have Kyle Fletcher come in to do a slight interference to do the reveal, like, whoa, right? And Takeshita picks up the win. How much better does this make Takeshita look?
Cleaner as well.
Yeah, cleaner. Right? Instead, you got screwdriver, you got bullshit, no cells, left, right, and center. There's... It's like, how can we get the crowd to pop? In between, and I noticed this about a lot of the matches as well, in between the moves, the crowd is dead. Only when something cool happens, then, but after that, it's like, okay, whatever lah. Because they're not emotionally involved.
Yeah. Takeshita is the right person to win, correct, right?
Yeah.
But I remember very clearly this time last year, we thought Takeshita was going to be the biggest thing ever, right? Remember when he defeated Kenny Omega one-on-one and All Out, and then he aligned with Don Callis last year. We thought he's going to run roughshod or go for the title and become a star. But that was 1 year ago, and this is 1 year later, and he just won another breakthrough match. I feel a lot of the AEW wrestlers are running on a treadmill in terms of their momentum.
Yep.
1 year they're hot, then next thing you know, you never hear from them, and then they're hot again, right?
They're hot in AEW terms. They are not hot in terms of the mass media. Nobody on the streets, anybody, anywhere is going to know Konosuke Takeshita.
Speaking of which, right, bro, you talk about hot and not hot and completely glossing over the fact, right? We didn't even talk about what happened after Jack Perry versus Shibata. Do you remember what happened?
What happened?
He got interrupted by Daniel Garcia, remember?
Oh shit, yeah. Oh my god, how did we forget about this? Okay. Oh my god. I knew there was something we forgot. Okay.
Nobody corrected us as well.
Look, they are trying so hard with this Daniel Garcia, right? And at some point, you have to just accept your loss and realize that guy does not have it. Maybe he will have it in a few years. The second he comes out, he tries to be serious. It's like, and because right after him was MJF making a return. And MJF, within 30 seconds of coming out, completely overshadows Daniel Garcia.
Yep.
100%. And of course, that's not enough. Because you got to pile another return on top of a return on top of a return, right?
Talk about premature ejaculation, Jason. Yeah.
Adam Cole, baby, comes back looking as skinny as ever. Looks like Britt Baker has only been the one hitting the gym, right? And he's a face.
6 months ago, it was Adam Cole in the ring as the heel, cutting a promo, and MJF returns as a babyface.
Yes.
Nothing, no time has passed by since that, no interaction, and then now terbalik, right? And some people try to justify, bro. Some people online say things like, "Oh, but Roman Reigns also became a babyface without any explanation, just turn babyface just like that, took time away." And I think to myself, like,
bro, have you not been watching? What do we know? What do you mean no interaction? It's all been the bloodline being taken over.
Yeah. Adam Cole, what happened? What happened to the Undisputed Kingdom?
Nothing.
What happened to the Devil Mask storyline?
And Roman Reigns was over, by the way. Even as a heel, he was over. Let's not forget that.
I think the injury angle was really unfortunate. I think they botched it because injuries, what to do, right? But look at CM Punk. CM Punk was injured for half of the year. Could still keep the heat between him and Drew McIntyre, right?
Yeah. These guys injured, they really take holiday. They don't give a shit. No, and it's the work culture. At the end of the day, it's a work culture thing. They are okay to just like freaking Miro has been off TV forever and he's still getting paid. So why even come into work?
Let Mr. Young and Foreign guide give you guys career guidance, guys. Okay. It's great to have a company that gives you a lot of work-life balance or don't care about you, let you, just stay at home if you want. But at some point, you got to be thinking to yourself, are you doing a good service to your life or not? Like, are you actually maximizing the potential of your youth right now, right?
Exactly, right?
What taking you can be learning, right?
Yeah, to actually put yourself over in wrestling terms, as it were. So now you got MJF, Daniel Garcia, Jack Perry, and Adam Cole involved in, I don't know, is this going to be for the TNT Championship? Why is MJF in this mix? MJF is way higher profile than all the other three guys. Unfortunately, I feel like Adam Cole hasn't, hit that potential, that world championship potential that he used to have in NXT. He's not that guy anymore, right? So
bro, the four-way match between the four of them for the TNT title is not gonna hit, bro. It's just gonna be whatever.
Yeah, it is not it. Once again, we talk about how this company just does not have an idea of how to create or maintain heat and stars. They can't. They have a massive roster. They can't do anything with it.
I'm curious to know your thoughts, right? Like, why do you think MJF is in this position? Like, do you think that he came back, signed that contract, and then he told Tony Khan, like, okay, I do not want to be the world champion. I want to be the guy that, money is definitely a huge part of it. But why he agreed to this position on the card? Like, he's not the top star at this point in time.
Bro, and I think this is a bit of like foreshadowing as well, because what was it when on his return he said something about he bet on himself or bet on yourself. That's the tattoo that he got, right?
Yeah.
He's doing exactly that. He knows that he is still very young. He can make the millions first. Then when his contract is over, go to WWE. So he's fine with staying in the mid card because he knows that his ceiling is so high anyway. Make the money first, then. So if let's say you get injured in the next few years and it's a career-ending injury, for example, Choi, knock on wood, but it could happen. It's wrestling, right? So you make that money first. You have $1 or $2 million stored away in the bank. Then now let's go to WWE where they will probably pay you less, but you can strike it out. So I think he's just playing the not say the safer bet, but he knows that his WWE contract is waiting for him no matter what, man.
That could be a potential theory. I'm thinking along the lines, and my theory is I don't know whether it's just being altruistic of MJF, but maybe he realized like, hey, AEW is in a bad spot. Maybe he went back to Tony Khan and said, okay, you pay me this X amount of money. Okay, for this run, I don't have to be the top star. I want to help build up the company in the other divisions. So I'm using my star power for these other people to build.
That's like, remember when AEW first started and Kenny Omega was losing matches left, right, and center?
Yes.
You're not there yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, you are there for this audience, but you're not out. But wasn't he in a movie recently as well?
Yeah, Happy Gilmore 2, I believe, with Adam Sandler.
Yeah. He went on the mic and he basically shat on Daniel Garcia about his fake contract war, and then he talked about, oh, while I was in the movie, what the hell were you doing? Like, he essentially buried Daniel Garcia in 2 lines. Like, Daniel Garcia, poor guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I would
But
rather him return on a Dynamite with somebody else and not be involved with MJF, because MJF outshines him 100% of the time.
But if he was a top star, like if he was Drew McIntyre, he can take those kind of like blows and like he can give them back.
Yeah.
But I don't think Daniel Garcia is capable of doing such a thing.
No, unfortunately, absolutely not. All right, let's move on then to, wow, why is this match even here? And once again, it's one of those WWE 2K24 GM mode matches. Oh, we want you to put a 2 out of 3 falls match in this card for no reason whatsoever. Hologram versus the Beast Mortos. Can we very quickly pivot as well to Dynamite and the most brain rot segment I've ever seen? Okay, you had Don Callis approaching Jake the Snake. I'm like, he's still part of AEW, okay. And Don Callis makes a deal. What was it? A managerial transfer. So Jake the Snake transfers Lance Archer over to Don Callis. And what does Jake the Snake get in return? We don't know yet. Ooh, it's a big surprise, big tease, right? Come to find out later, Jake the Snake has acquired the services of LFI. So basically a bunch of luchas lah, Mortos and the other 2 fella, I don't know who lah. Huh?
Wait, since when did Don Callis own them?
Exactly. I'm like, wait, I thought this is... Do you guys not understand how transfers work?
Oh my god, okay.
I don't understand how they got Jake the Snake's client, Lance Archer, but Jake the Snake got LFI.
Why not like...
Who's,
I don't know.
Somebody who's following this bullshit, please explain to me how this transfer happened. I was watching it going, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Okay. Again, I'm not gonna try to judge them because to be honest, I haven't watched Collision. I mean, in a long time, right? And then suddenly when Hologram came out, they were saying like, "Oh, he's on the back of a 14-match winning streak, 15." Yeah, I'm like, and then some people comment like, "This is Tony Khan's dream wrestler. His great wrestler is Hologram."
It is. No, Hologram is the new Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, oh my. Okay, first of all, right, what is Hologram's history? Was he like a big star in Mexico, or he's some random, or maybe right, this is their Shark Boy or like their Mil Mascara, where they just created a random character. They just can slot in whoever to become the Tiger Mask. You know, any person can be this. I do not know. Okay.
Here's a bit of context, right, Jason? How you doing, by the way? I appreciate this. Hologram versus Beast Mortals was a Fox Sports Mexico contractual requirement. So they did a deal with Fox Sports Mexico to like have matches and stuff like that, which is great for them, right? Yeah. So I guess that's why they're doing a 2 out of 3 lucha match.
So it's an indie supercard lah, basically lah. Like each match serves a certain master, but it's not the overall story.
So I don't know about all that stuff, but in terms of this pay-per-view,
is Hologram technically a big Mexican star that they bought?
I guess, I don't know. But for most casual viewers, once again, you're super serving your, very niche crowds. For most casual viewers, I went to toilet break. I did not pay attention to this match. What I did see was Beast Mortos do like several devastating finishes to Hologram, and he kicked out. Sometimes at one. Which is, once again, every match.
Yeah. Lucha matches doesn't need a 2 out of 3 falls.
Wait, I thought 2 out of 3 is like typical lucha shit.
No, I don't think so. Like
because they go very fast back and forth, like bum 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 bum. You know?
No, their match should be like WWE speed. Like who can beat you the fastest? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, look, whatever it is, it just didn't need to be here, and definitely not take up 16 minutes.
Yeah. To me, Beast Mortos does have a very cool look. I thought he looks cool. But then don't they already have a El Toro Blanco in Rouge who already wears some sort of like bull headgear?
Rouge is part of this LFI group that's managed by Jake the Snake, of all people. Because, when you think of lucha, you think of Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wait. So is Rouge is with this Beast Mortos, and who's the third guy?
Let me Google this because I do not remember.
Is Preston Van still part of it?
I don't know.
I know Andrade left long time ago lah.
Okay, La Facción Ingobernables. So yeah, Roosh is actually a lot of people in it.
Okay, list them down.
The Beast Mortals, Jake the Snake, Preston Vance,
Hmm.
until September 12th, so he's out already.
But until that, so you got expiry, contract expiry.
yeah.
Oh,
The
dear God.
Dralistico,
Okay, realistic. That's the Dragon Lee looking guy.
La Bestia del Ring. I have no idea who that is. It's probably one
Okay.
of the AAA guys, and Roosh lah.
Okay, so it's
okay.
Roosh lah.
Yeah, I think the three that are in AEW is Roosh, Jake, Mortos, Dralistico.
Dralistico. And
Yeah.
Preston Vance, who's
No, Preston Vance no more already. I think kick out already.
okay. I thought he free transfer out already.
None
okay.
of this shit. Bro, the fact that I have to Google this shit, once again, going back to the whole, this is catering to a very niche audience, and most people will be like, what are these two random luchas doing on this card? In a 2 out of 3 falls.
When people ask us, hey, why you all talk so long? It's because we spend 5 unnecessary minutes talking about such topics. Let's move
Having
on.
to Google. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next match, which, man, look, Darby Allin, Brody King. I actually enjoyed the match. I would have enjoyed it more if it was the only or one of 2 hardcore matches. If every other match didn't have some sort of table, stairs, screwdriver bullshit involved, right? This could have been the hardcore match. Because Darby Allin, he's that guy. He's that guy that will take unnecessary risks, do crazy ass shit. You know, he gets thrown on the stairs and he takes bumps, like ridiculous bumps.
Jeff Hardy lah for this generation.
And the difference is he's actually likable. Like, he's the guy that I could actually root for when he's doing this shit, as opposed to a lot of these other guys who are doing this shit, but I don't care.
Yeah. To me, Darby Allin is what I would consider one of the success stories of AEW, right? Like, he built his aura in AEW. And I think every time he's had a chance on the mic, he has not disappointed. Like, he stays true to himself. The way he talks comes from the heart. And I did see that promo he did with Brody King, and he was trying to tell this story of he actually helped to get Brody King his job, right?
Yeah.
But since when Brody King is this character, right? Like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly it. When I saw the promo, I was like, did Brody King leave the House of Black? You know, it felt like, okay. It almost felt like if you grew up on The Undertaker and then you stop watching wrestling and then suddenly you watch one episode of SmackDown, he comes out as a biker. You're like, what the fuck just happened? I thought this guy is supposed to be a zombie. You know?
Where was the evolution, right? That's the question I'm trying to ask.
I don't know if there was. Somebody please correct me if there was and happened on like a Rampage or a Collision and nobody cares about, right? But yeah, all of a sudden, Brody King was just standing there in his jeans, looking very like casual, like badass casual, but you know what I mean? I was like, what is going on?
No, that's the thing, right? Like, actually, I don't mind this character wrinkle in him. Like, if he's this badass who has this like soft-hearted side, who actually has this relationship with Darby Allin, and like maybe he wanted to be in this sport that he had, you know, blah 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 blah. Like, okay, that humanizes his character. Actually, that makes me care about him, right?
Yeah.
But again, like, that was just one promo.
Yep.
And for some reason, I think Tony Khan thinks like, okay, one promo is enough to set up a match, and it's gonna be on pay-per-view.
That again, I've said this like 1,000 times already today. That's indie booking.
Yeah.
It's not long-term storytelling, you know? And for a lot of like movies, TV shows, it's show me, don't tell me. It's better to see it play out as opposed to going on this long, like, you know, explanation. Oh, we used to have a past. I helped you get a job, blah, 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 blah. It's a great story. Could have been done a lot better if you had planned it way in advance.
Yeah. And again, right, if they had this history, they are friends, right? Why is it not a straight up competitive wrestling match? Why should we go to hardcore match and they try to kill each other?
Because that is their style. And that's the thing. So when you look at Darby Allin, it's like Jack Perry is kind of the same thing. But Jack Perry is super unlikable. So, and then you have Adam Page, who's also kind of the same thing. He's like the hardcore guy now, who's also unlikable. So it's like you have 3 characters that are very similar. It's just that only one is actually over.
Yeah.
So get rid of the other 2.
And again, my question, Darby Allin's whole storyline before this was he actually won a shot at the AEW World title. He lost that title shot to Jon Moxley, right?
Yep.
Why is he still not hovering around the world title scene trying to get that shot back?
To be fair, in the main event, I think it sort of explain. He does have that
it went
involvement,
back.
so he is in like. But so I get it. I'm not going to fault them for that because I was thinking exactly that. Why is he having a random match against Brody King when he was just in the main event picture, right?
Yeah.
But I guess it was to set up the next thing, which is cool, which is fine. I think this means Darby Allin push in the future, which I am not against. I think he definitely deserves it at this point. That said, like I said, it's easy to root for Darby Allin. I didn't hate this match. I just thought that in a card filled with nonsense on the outside and head drops and bullshit flips, it got watered down. And this match could have meant so much more. I didn't even hate the handshake at the end. You know?
Yeah, that's the friendship thing, right? I would have kept this match regardless, right? I thought it was like, to me, two likable characters, like people who still care about. I would totally not have put up the next match on this card. That's what I would say.
Bro, I just had an idea. You know what we should do? We should go through AEW's roster and cut people.
So we basically become the George Clooney character from Up in the Air lah. He just go talent acquisition. His job is he just goes to company and downsizes the company.
And we should, you know, because that's the problem. They have too many similar people, so people cannot shine and be outstanding, right? Imagine if there were 5 Scottish psychopaths in WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing a similar gimmick. So that's the problem that AEW has. Too many people doing the same shit. Like I just brought up the example of Darby Allin, Jack Perry, and Hangman Page. Yeah, they look kind of different, but they have the same vibe.
Okay. Before we proceed to the next match, right? Let's do a roster cut, right? Starting from the first match that we've reviewed. If you can only keep one person from that match, who will we keep? Okay, let's do it.
Walao. Jay White, 100%.
I will keep JY as well. I'm sorry, Hangman.
Ooh. This is a tough one because Mariah May and Willow, we both agree that are valuable assets and they can tell a story and they can sell tickets. Honestly, this one, I would say keep both.
I will keep Willow. Because there's a million other Mariah Mays.
Bro, you know what? I agree with that. You're right. Like
Willow
we talked about earlier, you could easily swap Mariah May for Energy.
Yeah. Energy can play that character. Harley Cavill can play that character. So
yeah. And Tony Storm could have put them over the same way. You're right. Good point. Very good point.
We gotta be ruthless, brother. We gotta be ruthless.
Jack Perry versus Shibata, both go away. The one. Both go away. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, no.
Okay, both go.
Takeshita, Ospreay, Ricochet. This one's tough. Because Will and Takeshita are both valuable and can be top stars. Ricochet, sorry lah, huh?
Okay, if I have to be ruthless, I will keep Ospreay.
Yeah.
Only because Ospreay can be their number one quarterback franchise player, while I think Takeshita's, sorry to say lah, being Japanese, I don't think he can be that top guy.
True. How about Takeshita becomes a part-timer, comes in once in a while?
Yeah, he can be the top guy in DDT lah, or New Japan. Then he can do his Forbidden Door match lah.
Yeah, and then he can go away lah. Hologram Beast Mortos, both go away, please.
Both go back Mexico lah. I think that's where you're appreciated more.
Darby Allin, Brody King, I think we all both agree lah, Darby Allin. As much as we actually like Brody King in this match, I think it's Darby Allin, right? This is a sheer booking thing.
Okay. Next one, okay. This is tough.
This is not tough at all for me, bro. Get rid of the Young Bucks. I'm sorry, Young Bucks is what is keeping the tag team division down. Young Bucks versus Private Party. Why was this match even here? There was absolutely no doubt that Private Party was not going to win here. Even though they tried, the commentators tried, like, oh, Private Party actually beat them on the second episode of Dynamite, blah, blah, blah. There has not been any build for Private Party. They are at the same place, if not worse than when they first started 5 years ago, right? Yep. And the Young Bucks being this EVP thing has resulted in nothing. There's no ramifications. It's just a thing that they throw around once in a while when it's convenient for the script or when it's convenient for matchmaking. But for the most part, there is no presence. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree completely because, again, remember we were talking about like wrestlers who are running on a treadmill since they joined AEW. Their momentum has always been on this treadmill because Private Party arguably are in the same position as they were 5 years ago. And to me, I thought they were more over 5 years ago because them beating Young Bucks at that point that was genuinely an upset.
And they were fresh, they were young, up and coming talents. 5 years later, they are no longer fresh. They just have been there. They are the guys that have been there for 5 years and done nothing.
Yeah, it's like if you're telling me the Street Profits suddenly beat the Bloodline right now, right? I'm like, okay.
Bro,
like,
you can't even compare the Street Profits to Private Parties, yeah? Like, Street Profits are another level already.
yeah, streets ahead of Private Party, right? Okay, so whatever match, like to me the match was fine. It was what it was. Like their flippy shit and stuff like that. To me, the thing that I remember most about the match was actually Isaiah Cassidy? Or I forgot what's their name. They call him Jay.
Zay and Quinn. That's how they
call
go by
him.
it.
They changed his name from Isaiah Cassidy to Zay, I guess.
Yep.
Him crying and showing emotion because he lost, right? To me, felt more. It tugged my heartstrings more than the match itself.
Yep.
Like if that was the whole story they were trying to say, like, oh, he's desperate, he needs to win. He might feel like, he's not doing well enough in AEW if he doesn't succeed here, and this could be his last opportunity to win the titles, or maybe they won't have a shot at the tag team titles anymore. And then him crying because he was heartbroken. Like, that's such an easy story to tell, but like it was just so lost in all the convolutedness of it all, right?
Because the Young Bucks can't tell a story to save their lives. They can't act. They only can do athletic shit, and they do it well. But this is the business of selling emotion, and they can't sell an emotion.
Yeah.
Apathy is not an emotion. Apathy is the lack of emotions, and they are selling exactly that, apathy. Nobody gives a fuck when they come out.
Somebody said that they both of them look like two middle-aged IT personnel trying to cosplay as pro wrestlers. Yeah. But you know what? Like, Young Bucks, I think the legend of the Young Bucks has outgrown them as wrestlers and as people.
Yeah.
Like, when we think of Young Bucks, you sure want to associate like, oh, this nonsense lah, that lah. But like, to me, at the very core of it all, right, if the wrestling was good or the character was great, like, there will be people that we love to hate. Yeah. Like, imagine if Dominic Mysterio had the controversy surrounding him that the Young Bucks have, but actually can wrestle and has a character like Dominic Mysterio. Bro, he'll be the hottest heel in the business, bro.
Dom is the hottest heel in the business without all that bullshit.
All the shenanigans, right? Yeah.
Because he's well booked. The Young Bucks, they had a thing. They were industry disruptors. They had an indie legend. But the second you put them on live TV, episodic storytelling, you realize they actually don't have the goods to back it up. And and that's the other thing. They refuse to listen to the people who have been there before because they think that they're disruptors. They think that, oh, these old fogies don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, there are some people in the industry who are veterans who are full of themselves and full of shit, right? That is true. But, I mean, I guess it's that lack of self-awareness, law, in that they think that they still are over or are relevant. They are not.
They wrote a book called Killing the Business, as if they are proud of that fact.
Yeah.
So
they have not done that. The business is thriving and moved on from them.
No, they have disrupted, right?
Yeah.
But to me, the only thing that they've done is make WWE wake up and become better. So like, we can thank them for WWE being in their position right now. But
But stop. I have to stop you there, bro.
No, you gotta,
TKO
right?
would have been a thing even if the Young Bucks didn't exist. I don't think it matters in the slightest. This would have happened. Like, okay, fine. AEW becoming a thing, yes, is probably it might play a role into the decision making of TKO and WWE and stuff like that. But in terms of just the Young Bucks, no, man. I think
the bigger word will be AEW has been a disruptor, and of course the Young Bucks were a big part of AEW. But that, to me, that would be their legacy. Their legacy will be starting AEW, being a disruptor in the business and helping WWE reach their boom period at this point, or like contributing in a small part. Bro, them pushing out CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah, true.
Come on,
okay.
In another alternate universe, it would be Cody Rhodes and CM Punk headlining Wembley at Allin, right?
What if? Wow. Hey, imagine this episode. We do a what if, right? Yeah. What if the Young Bucks didn't exist and it was Cody and CM Punk leading the charge at AEW, and AEW becomes WCW and we get the Monday Night Wars again?
Yes. And what if CM Punk and Cody Rhodes never left AEW? They became a thriving alternative to WWE. Vince never left WWE. So now we genuinely have a proper war in this current era where like both people have to kind of, and Roman Reigns will definitely lead the charge. The Bloodline will be the centerpiece, but Cody and CM Punk will be a strong, opposition people will root for in AEW.
Okay, but the thing is, Vince will still have his issues. He'll still get fired or leave because of his sexual misconduct stuff, right? So that will still happen. If we are going by the logic of only one thing changes in this universe, multiverse stuff, bro, multiverse stuff. I mean, it's nice to fantasize about all this kind of stuff as well.
But to answer your question, I will get rid of both tag teams.
Oh, no, I would still keep Private Party. I think they have potential. If they were to work with an FTR, if they were to work with, oh my God.
The Outrunners?
Yeah, sure. They're cute and everything. Oh my God.
Bang Bang Gang?
Acclaim. And Bang Bang Gang as well. They have some good tag teams, but none of them are ever featured or ever get pushed beyond a certain level. And what happened to the Trios titles? But who are the Trios champions?
I can't name it off the top of my head, to be really
there you go.
honest.
All right.
I remember now. Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne.
Oh, yeah. It was better when I didn't remember.
Oh, dear God.
I would have eliminated that whole match from this card. That was pointless. Briscoe, Jericho. Wow.
The fall of Chris Jericho really needs to be studied, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like,
this really needs to be studied.
I feel so bad. He's cheated me of my support. I feel like I wasted so many years of supporting Chris Jericho.
It's supporting Chris Jericho like a young Hulkamaniac supporting Hogan and realizing he's like racist and like...
Yeah, right? It's like, what is going on now? This is just bullshit. You know?
What's your level of support for Chris Jericho right now? Like, do you still love him will you always be a fan of him? Do you like him still?
I will say this. I'm a fan of what he did in that Pocket era.
Oh, okay.
Like his WWE era. No, even I enjoyed his coming up with lists, that whole Man of 1,001 Holes.
Yeah,
drag. Like that was some goofy shit that,
He was hilarious. I think he's generally hilarious.
Yeah. But once again, he had somebody to temper his worst tendencies. And here, he does not. And
I honestly thought first year in AEW, he was really good. Like, as that top star or like the most recognizable star and becoming the world champion.
Mm-hmm.
That era of Chris Jericho, yes, I thought he was still cool, I would say.
Yeah, there's nothing cool about him now. Absolutely nothing cool about him. Mark Briscoe did get a win. Do you think that it put Mark Briscoe over, or was Mark Briscoe over with this crowd already? I feel like it did nothing for anybody.
Mark Briscoe beating 2018 Chris Jericho that was fresh off New Japan. Ooh, that would have been a huge deal, especially for Ring of Honor. Can you imagine Ring of Honor in that period getting Chris Jericho?
Yeah, that would have
fight their main event. Yeah,
but nope. This match, I don't know what it is about Mark at this point as well. Like, I remember when he had with his brother those matches with FTR, like there was like buzz and hype around them, right? I think it's just this feud with Chris Jericho. Like, I could not have cared less.
I think Mark, given the right booking, and the right push, can replace Bryan Danielson as like the most over baby face, or like can be AEW Sami Zayn, right? He has that natural charisma and he's likable. People care about him. He can be the underdog that wins the world title like for like a cup of coffee, right?
Like a Mick Foley lah.
Yeah, like a Mick Foley. Like, he can be, again, he's also an example of a potentially top star in AEW that they should be doing so much more with.
Yeah.
And to me, putting the belt on the Ring of Honor title is not considered pushing somebody. That's more like a appreciation, like letter of appreciation. Like that. Yeah.
Participation trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Who will you keep? Who will you throw away at this point in time?
Okay, I would keep Mark Briscoe. I would have Chris Jericho be a recurring, a part-timer. Come back once a year. Once every 9 months.
I need Chris Jericho on that Brock Lesnar schedule.
Yes. And but the thing is, when Brock Lesnar comes back, he's usually jacked to the gills, looking like the farm boy that he is. Like, I don't know if Chris Jericho returning and then looking like he does now is gonna work, bro.
No, Chris Jericho, when he took time off, when he started the JAS, right, he actually had his body got back in shape.
Yeah.
But then I think the more he wrestled, the more he let himself go. He can't train. Maybe that's why.
I think that's what it is too, because like they've said it before, right? Like Sami Zayn did the exact same thing when he was in the Bloodline as a heel. Remember the heel Sami Zayn? the scheming guy.
Yep.
He let himself go on purpose. He didn't shave. He like stopped working out so he didn't have definition. Because as a heel, it's easier to hate that guy.
Yep. But yeah, again, if you can control your body and like work it to your advantage, I don't know. Chris Jericho, I think he like rock star. Really. Like he don't care. He just drink whatever he want.
Yeah, do
He just
whatever.
perform. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Big Bill got involved. There was garbage. Again, it's nothing that we haven't already seen in this entire card, and I lost interest so fast.
And this was supposed to be the co-main event, and it was tough watch.
It was tough watch. I had to split this up into 3 different watch things. Okay, let's talk about the main event.
Took us a while to get here, but we are finally here.
Okay, this review is as tiresome as the pay-per-view itself.
Bro. And we still do it in half the time, so
yeah, exactly. Jon Moxley with his, whatever. Do they have a name yet?
No, they don't have a name.
Okay, whatever, the White Pool Combat Club. We'll call it that until they get a damn name.
The racist comeback.
They are what? No, what else are they right now? Okay,
yeah, they're not black. They're definitely white. Yeah,
so the White Pool Combat Club versus Daniel Bryan in Daniel Bryan's home. Bryan Danielson, sorry, Bryan Danielson's hometown of Tacoma, Washington. Huge babyface pop.
But not gonna lie, it was a pretty good audience for them, for AEW. Tacoma Dome, I think it was 9,000.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Tony Khan splashed out the money for Final Countdown, and they had to play it even though Jon Moxley jump started the match, right? They like fighting, they're still playing the Final Countdown. It's their thing, sure, I get it, fine, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I just get the positives out of the way, because I feel we will be remiss not to talk about positive. Jon Moxley is in great shape right now. He looks good. That time off really has done him well, and I actually like when Jon Moxley is ripped, because he actually does come across as very menacing in this current iteration. So that gave me this sense of danger. So he did bring that back, which I like.
Sure. Bryan Danielson, I think, can make anybody look good in terms of in a wrestling sense. Unfortunately, you once again had things like people kicking out at 1. You had, kicking out of finishers, which once again, if everybody else did not do that and it only happened here, then yes, it would have been a moment, right? Because Bryan Danielson is fighting for his career in this one.
Yeah, agreed. The thing about Bryan Danielson is right now is like the zenith, the world championship win he had in Allin. That's probably the high point in his run or his retirement tour. It's only what's gonna go down, right? But the problem is, right, I felt like that victory lap that he had just consisted of Jack Perry defending the title against Jack Perry, and then kena plastic bag attack by Jon Moxley. So it's like a bit anticlimactic, you know what I mean?
That's the exact thing I wanted to bring up. I think we both felt the same way. It feels like this victory lap was very short.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to like Sting, who had like a 1. Well, how long was Sting's retirement tour where he didn't even lose?
8 months or 6 months or something?
For whatever reason, that felt more substantial. Right. And see, here's the thing. It's very obvious to me that in the way they've talked about it as well, if he loses, he's going to retire from full-time wrestling. So I'm like, okay lah, that means he's still going to come back once in a while, maybe wrestle once a year. So he's not retiring. So I think that they didn't sort of build that. Like, remember, for example, Ric Flair versus Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels. If Shawn Michaels wins, Ric Flair retires. It was as simple as that. They told that story, and then, there's the I love you moment, blah, 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 goes down in history. Yeah, Ric Flair didn't retire after that, but that's on Ric Flair. That's his own Tai Chi already,
But on the company side, they actually followed through that.
It didn't for a moment feel like this in AEW. Like, I never for once thought that Bryan Danielson was going to retire. Like, for whatever reason, it just didn't feel like it. They didn't push that narrative strong enough. They didn't sell it big enough. There was no emotion attached to a lot of this stuff.
They didn't do a good job like talking about Bryan Danielson's biggest moments in AEW. They didn't like recap his career, make it sound like it really feels like the final. Like, even the build up to All In was much better.
Yeah.
They actually did more. but like this feels more like what do you call it? Aftermath?
Afterthought?
No, not afterthought. Yes, afterthought. It felt like an
Yeah.
afterthought. His reign, okay, his win was epic,
Yeah.
but his reign was an afterthought, and this end to his reign was like a complete downer, in my opinion.
Isn't that the exact same thing that has happened to everybody in AEW? They have their moment and then don't know what to do after already. The follow-up is just not there, right?
I've heard some circles say that, Bryan Danielson explicitly said that he wanted Jon Moxley to be the one that ends his full-time career.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. In fact, before WrestleDream, I was like, honestly, I feel like and I said it on last week's podcast, right? Jon Moxley should beat Bryan Danielson because, and Bryan Danielson is the sort of guy who will do business. He will go down on his back, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
And hand the title over to somebody he's worked with before. They're probably friends. He respects Jon Moxley, that kind of thing. And it pushes the narrative forward. So now there's a storyline, and we'll talk about all the aftermath that goes forward after the Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson feud. And it gives reason for the next feud, which Jon Moxley will have to put Darby Allin over. But I'm getting ahead of myself here, right? The only problem is it cheapens Bryan Danielson's reign because it was done in such a short amount of time with not so great storytelling.
Yeah, the match itself, there was stakes. I did feel like, okay, Bryan Danielson is trying to survive this situation. Jon Moxley does come across incredibly dangerous, so I feel that his character has been refreshed. That's good. But again, like the finish with the sleeper hole and him choking him out, there wasn't even any big struggle from Bryan Danielson. He just accepted his fate and just died. So
yeah, did you hear the crowd just like there was literally an air like a huge air of disappointment, and maybe that was the point. Maybe that was the point to make you feel like, oh, what the man, like just like that.
Maybe they're trying to recreate Undertaker Brock Lesnar to a certain extent.
Maybe, but
with the
here's the
streak
thing.
broken.
I think they did that because Bryan Danielson will return, which to me cheapens this whole thing as well. The idea of a retirement match, you know what I mean, is he'll never wrestle again. But they explicitly say he's going to retire from full-time in-ring wrestling, which means he'll probably come back for one match here and there. We get it. I understand it. So the way they set it up made it feel not important. That's why I just could not get to that level of emotion like a Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels.
And the thing is, it's happening in Bryan Danielson's hometown. It should be a way bigger deal. I was expecting like signs across the audience, like how during the WrestleMania 24 they had like woo, like in long letters, like just something to make it feel like a special occasion.
Bro, Bryan Danielson is not over. I hate saying that, but
this version of Bryan Danielson.
In AEW, Bryan Danielson is not over. And I know I'm going to offend a lot of people by saying this, but the only reason that he was over in the WWE was because somebody finally woke up to the fans like cheering for him and gave him that push. And then they stole that story. It's like the Kofi Mania situation all over again, right? But on his own, outside, without the machine pushing him, he cannot do it by himself.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson and Kofi Kingston have more similarities than a lot of people think. Their title reign, that's one. But also the fact that like they were not supposed to be the top stars, but they gave them that shine because like moment in the sun, well deserved, like a career acknowledgement kind of thing. I think AEW is more Bryan Danielson's level, in my opinion. Like maybe he's meant to be more of like closer to the grassroots and indie stuff.
Indie darling lah. Adam Cole is another guy who's sort of that same vein.
Yeah, but even in this environment, he should be the biggest, hottest thing ever. But again, maybe it's the Tanahashi problem or the Naito problem where we are getting a American Dragon that's at the end of his career, fighting injuries, slowing down in the ring. While he can be a great wrestler, like on any given night, he's not a great wrestler every single night.
Yeah. And okay, I don't think there is a doubt as to the quality of his wrestling. I think he's made a lot of shit wrestlers look good in the ring. Yeah. It's just that it's the promotion. I always go back to, look cool. Does this product look cool? And because AEW is just not a cool product, it might be crazy to say, but I would rather watch a trick match than a Bryan Danielson match at this point, which is saying a lot.
Bro, how can you say AEW is not cool when Jon Moxley is like the coolest badass around?
Bro, ain't nothing cool about the White Pool Combat Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk about the ending of the match. Okay, so he managed to win by submission.
Again, they
Yeah.
cannot leave well alone. If you are going to have a match with an afterbirth, don't do. They did it in the Konosuke Takeshita match with the big turn. They did it in Jack Perry with MJF, Adam Cole. Again, stop doing the same shit over and over again in the same card. It becomes just a blur of bullshit. Right?
A blur of bullshit. That's a good phrase.
Why do you think PLEs are doing so well? They have 5 matches and they are selling out stadiums and making record money. Whereas over on AEW, they are putting 13 matches. This should be value for money. But nobody is buying a ticket.
Okay, in WWE they will say like, oh, this is the highest grossing arena in the last 12 times or whatever nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they should get Justin Roberts to go, this is the most value to money, best value for your money entertainment that you'll have all year round.
Yeah, if you take the price divided by number of matches, wow, look at the value you're getting. Bro, it's like nobody's over here.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Okay, anyway, yes, the afterbirth, right? So Bryan Danielson is down. And once again, if they did the bag gimmick here and not done it at the last pay-per-view, I think it would have meant more. Like if in the last one, instead of doing the bag gimmick, they just beat him up, they backstab him, whatever, right? And then there would have been a shocking moment already in and of itself. And then they did the bag thing here. I think that would have made it even more like, what the fuck? The fact that, like, I expected the bag to come out here. You know what I mean? It didn't feel, quote unquote, special anymore. And you can tell the comment JR, like, you can tell he was done with this shit. Like, his reaction after the first time it happened was the genuine reaction. Like, I think, felt disgusted.
Yeah.
In this one, JR, Tony, they just sounded like, they're like, okay, whatever lah. You know what I mean? They're like, and that's exactly how I feel as well. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they're gonna do the bag gimmick again. Of course they are. But they topped it off with the chair in the neck deal. They quote unquote like broke his neck, whatever lah. So fine,
How can you not mention the shocking betrayal of Wheeler Utah?
So that spot was just as bad as the Kyle Fletcher in that. Oh my God. It's like, stop putting these people who have no aura in moments where we are supposed to care. The most telegraphed turn. And then, Wheeler Utah hits the Busaiko knee. And then he like, he like trying to show anguish. I'm like, this is the height of bad acting. Coming back to AEW just not being cool. This seems like community theater. It seems like a bad, like, after school play. And then to top it all off, you had Excalibur cry on comment. Excalibur tried to cry on comment.
Oh, he tried. Keyword try, right? You talk about bad acting. When Willow Utah was doing this, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, this looks very familiar. Now I remember. I'm sorry.
Bitch. At least that one was fun. That was committed. Not like, oh my God. You had Wheeler trying to cry. You had Excalibur trying to emote. And
Darby Allin trying to save the day.
Darby Allin looked great. Darby Allin and everybody else coming out to save Bryan Danielson made sense. And to be honest, why didn't they do it at the previous one? That was the only, like, oh, now then you'll come out. But I get it, and that's fine, right?
Yeah.
See, first of all, they should have just gone silent. They should just, all commentators just shut the F up at that point. No more commentary. Just let people see this crazy scene. We've seen it in WWE like so many times already. Like something crazy happens, commentators shut up. Yeah. Let the viewer take in the moment. 2, the plastic bag gimmick already done. You cannot go a step higher already, right?
Yeah.
So you should have saved the plastic bag gimmick for when it counted, which was here. I think it would have been so much more impactful if they A, didn't do the plastic bag gimmick in the previous one, B, did it here, and then have the commentators just have nothing to say. because they let the action speak for itself, and then the whole locker room empties and everything else plays out, I think that would have been so much more impactful. And then AEW did the same thing. Oh, we do not condone the actions of Jon Moxley, so we shall not repost. Like we saw that a few months ago already. You're repeating yourself.
Yeah. I just felt like they ended the show on a downer for sure, and maybe that was intentional, right? They wanted people to feel a lot of unhappiness and disappointment and like sadness for Bryan Danielson's career ending. Honestly, despite everything that we've discussed, I am curious to see how this plays out with Jon Moxley and his gang and what is the end game here, right? Now you got Bryan Danielson out of the picture, right? Darby Allin ideally is the one to step up next.
Yeah, because he was the one who tried to save Bryan Danielson first. He got tied up in the ropes and he's looking all upset and everything, right? So this is a natural feud. Like we talked about, because Jon Moxley was the one who took the title shot away from Darby Allin. And Darby Allin, I think, his time has come. He deserves that run, right?
Yeah.
I just hope that they don't drop the ball again on this.
Yeah, but my question is like, what is the end game that will make you happy with this whole angle? Like,
then there needs to be comeuppance. The bad guys need to have. But of course, Jon Moxley, he's trying to create a bloodline. He's trying to create a dominant faction. With a bunch of people who are absolutely not over whatsoever, nor are they charismatic.
Again, like Claudio and Park all can wrestle, right?
Yeah.
But they have an ounce of the charisma of a Tongaloa or a Tamatonga. You know what I mean? Where's the aura? The aura is not there.
Yeah, zero aura. And then now, Wheeler Yuta, who has negative aura.
Negative 10. No, okay, Wheeler Yuta's reluctant heel turn does intrigue me because I feel like he did it against his wishes. So he initially didn't want to do that. Bro, he was like, I'm sorry and blah, blah, blah.
Bro, I roll my eyes so hard because it just feels, everything about AEW's presentation feels fake. And I don't mean the TV presentation. The TV presentation, the set, everything looks great, right?
Yep.
It's the storylines and everything. This goes back to a period in time where people are like, hey, you watch wrestling and there's stuff fake. This makes pro wrestling look fake. When there's obvious cooperation in matches like Ospreay and Ricochet, right? And your hologram beast Mortos, that kind of stuff, right? They keep feeding us like bullshit of repetitious run-ins and people turning without turning for no rhyme or reason. Yeah. No emotional investment in any of the characters.
So again, right? I feel like you gotta watch AEW like how you watch Bad Boys for Life, right? Like you gotta switch off your brain. If you want to watch it, it's either to have fun. And when I say have fun, not have fun watching the matches, have fun making fun of the matches. Yes. Thumbs up to that, my brother. Like, I can't. Like the only time that I feel like very like, okay, paying attention is like, okay, MJF's there. Okay, what is he gonna do? Or like, even at this point, I do like a bit of what Will Ospreay does. And I like the promos. Like the promos is the thing that's gonna get me because as much as a visual storyteller, we all love the action. You gotta talk me into the building. The words is what's selling me. That's why I paid money to watch Eddie Kingston and CM Punk because of that promo that they did. And I paid attention with Brody King and Darby Allin because what Darby Allin said. So that is the strength that will keep people invested in the company and get the casuals. But you gotta do more of that, bro.
Yeah. That's WrestleDream. Everybody,
greats. Everyone else who's still on the chat, who survived, and shout out to all of you guys for surviving. And Circus, I hope you didn't fall asleep with our long ass winding review. Can you give us your letter grades or number grades, right?
From a value for money standpoint, I must find the positives. Value for money, I give it a solid 8 out of 10, bro. We got 13 matches, divide by, $50?
34 Sing dollars.
34, okay. Divide. People. That's some good value, bro.
That's like $2 per show.
Yeah. But would I actually pay $2 if I could a la carte No, I would cut so many of these matches. It's not even funny.
I would
No,
a la carte and just choose 5 matches and I'll still make it $10.
Yes, exactly right. No, I think a lot of AEW is you see the potential is there, but they're just not engaging on an emotional level. And at the end of the day, it is not cool. There's nothing cool. I keep going back to this, but even NXT, I would watch an NXT pay-per-view over this. NXT pay-per-views seem cool and hip and happening. The stuff here seems fake and contrived. And then you got Excalibur crying. Oh God, man. No, it really feels leagues apart. And I say this while also maintaining that I think the wrestling here is better than NXT. I think NXT has a lot of greenness to it. Some of the matches are like cringe, but it's just cooler to watch NXT, even if Sexy Red is on.
Oh my God. Maybe not that part, but the rest of the part maybe yes.
But you get my point, right? Like there is just an uncool vibe to AEW at this point.
Yeah. I feel Ethan Page is more cooler and more interesting in NXT, right?
He just lost too.
Yeah, but it's cool, right? So again, letter grades, I would give it a solid maybe C, like a C plus.
I would give it upon 10, a 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Once again, going back to how do you feel after watching it? I felt dragged out. I felt like I'm spent after what I felt like I was doing homework. It just felt there watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah. Like I watched it knowing that we were going to do the podcast and reviewing it. But I just felt like, oh man, I wish there was other things we could talk about on the podcast, not WrestleDream.
Yeah.
And again, it's at the end of the day, it's really, like you say, emotions sell tickets. You need to care about the wrestlers. And I care about the wrestlers based on things that they've done in the past, not because of what they did in AEW or they have done recently in AEW. Like, you put Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley back in WWE with all their packages and all their presentation and all that kind of stuff. Even in these new characters, like really it's Bryan Danielson now, Jon Moxley now. But the way a Lee Fitting or Triple H would direct that, the cinema of it all.
Hey, imagine if Bryan Danielson retires here, he doesn't re-sign or whatever, he gets out of his contract, and then he finishes another run on WWE. I'm honestly, especially in this iteration of the WWE, I think they could tell incredible stories.
Bryan Danielson against... I don't know, man. Bryan Danielson against Braun Breaker. Student versus teacher. I don't know.
Or he comes back as some sort of authority figure.
I think it will work. Bryan Danielson in NXT will be fun.
Yeah. But we all know CM Punk is the guy. Then you could have CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson. Remember, Bryan Danielson was part of the
firing
committee or whatever, like discipline committee.
Yeah.
Who decided to have CM Punk fired. Bro, imagine that, bro.
Yeah. What does Sir Who's mean? Mr. Young, where is your Casio?
My watch, and I did a video on because I'm a full-on content creator, bro. Everything is content.
Ayo,
I went retro chic, nice enough. You're like, so
nice.
random, bro.
Nice, love it.
You know why I bought this watch, right? Because it's like, I don't know if you noticed this, but I haven't had a watch for 3 years already.
Ooh, you haven't been wearing a watch in general.
Yeah, because my Fitbit, I used to wear my Fitbit all the time, right? And then it broke. Then I lazy and too cheap to buy a new one. Then this year, they announced the Apple Watch Ultra 2, right? I was like, oh, bro, that looks sick, bro. Like, see all these blood level, blah, 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 heart rate, all this bullshit. Then I look at the price. It's $1,399. I'm like, that's way too expensive. So I went...
watch, yeah.
I completely the other end. I was like, hey, $30 retro style, okay lah, get lah. And then I
Love
did a
it.
video about it. So there you go.
Love it. Okay, I you know what? Even until today, I still wearing my Army Casio watch, bro.
Let's go. So
Let's go.
Who's like, I don't want to hear about AEW again, bro. we as objective.
Are we really objective?
Bro, yes. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't get people who are like, oh, you guys are still being biased. Like, when WWE does sus stuff or bullshit, we'll still call it out, right? There is no arguing the fact that AEW is suffering from a lack of interest, a lack of cool. Okay, I guess there is subjective rather. But the attendance is dropping like nobody's business. There's no getting around that.
Yeah. To kind of put a bow, right? Like looking forward. I mean, there's nothing much to look forward to for AEW, but looking forward, in the wider wrestling circle, I think local wrestling is going to be fun the next couple of weeks.
That's correct, because Grapple Max and SPW are going to have big events coming up very soon to wrap up the year. Plus, of course, the end of the year Singapore Wrestler,
Singapore
list.
Wrestler Top 20, brother.
That's right. We have that going on as well. That's going to be very fun.
Yeah. Checking with you guys. Do you guys want us to make it like a formal event? Like we've been doing a Kick to the Gut Awards I think a couple of years in a row. Last year we did it like more of like a mini event for patrons. The year before we did it as a Kick to the Gut party.
Yes.
But now we got the Singapore Wrestler Top 20 as well, along with our Kick to the Gut Awards. Would you guys turn up if we were to make it a huge event and get the wrestlers involved and all that? Because if that's the case, you're gonna start planning, Mr. Young.
Bro, we might have to plan neutral ground, bro. Might have some like cross-promotional, feuds happening if certain wrestlers don't get number one, that kind of thing. Some of these guys and gals can be very volatile.
Yes. So the last stretch of the Singapore Wrestling SW20 gradings is happening soon. Next week, we have Amplify on the 26th, right? On the weekend. So look out next week. We'll definitely try to get one of Grapple Max wrestlers on the show to help preview the event. And of course, looking ahead, I think 8 November, correct me if I'm wrong, we have SPW's anniversary show, Crowning Glory. And then to wrap up, we have Grapple Max's anniversary show as well, 8th anniversary show. So, man, it's going to be a solid next few weeks of pro wrestling. We want to finish the year strong over on WWE as well. We still have Crown Jewel to get through. We still have Survivor Series to end the season with, bro.
Yes, Survivor Series is going to be crazy, especially knowing what is on the cards. The bloodline.
Potentially on the cards,
Yeah, that shit is going to be off the charts.
Yes.
And, of course, AEW is going to do some stuff.
Full gear. We will talk about Full Gear, don't worry.
Yeah. Look, okay, let me take a positive away. The pop when Bryan Danielson returns to help Darby Allin. Maybe Bryan Danielson doesn't come back and he really does retire, but he'll definitely come back to help Darby Allin.
Yep. Just like how Sting came back one off, right?
Yeah. So maybe Darby Allin becomes the new face of the company, and that will be interesting to see.
I don't mind Darby becoming that baby face.
Sure. We forgot one more thing that happened.
Oh my god, we forgot about
Prince and the Hurt Business and Swerve. Okay, very quickly. Prince Nana came out, shilled his coffee again, right? And then
it's quite cute.
What did that promo go on a little bit too long?
It's a bit convoluted. This could have been a Dynamite segment. Doesn't have to be on pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool for everyone involved to have Shelton Benjamin, MVP show up. I was hoping that Bobby Lashley would show up, but too many people returned anyway, so that was fine.
These people would have leveled up if there was a Bobby Lashley and Shane McMahon appearance. I think people would really talk about the show more.
Bro, there was already a MJF, Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia return, and 2 heel turns from people who don't really big deals, Kyle Fletcher and Wheeler Yuta. So there was already too much convolution going on.
We barely talk about Swerve, but I do want to give props because I think Swerve was one of the bright spots on AEW. Problem was when he was the champion, he for some reason was booked really badly. But now that he's free of the championship, I do hope that he does have a solid storyline going on with this whole Hurt Business happening.
So, okay, it looks like he's going to oppose the Hurt Business instead of join them, right? So we won't be getting like what I pitched, the Hurt Business versus the Whitepool Combat Club. That would have been the money draw, I feel.
Yeah, but maybe
you have your little pocket universe of the
black wrestlers fighting
with each other, which is okay, whatever, lor. Well, maybe it's just a precursor, Who knows?
Yeah, but Bobby Lashley versus Swerve, do you think that'll be a good match?
I think the promos will be fire. I think it's tough, lah. It's tough because Bobby Lashley is so much bigger. And what's the story you're going to tell here? Like this overpowering force versus this young upstart.
If they book it right, Bobby Lashley can be their Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Right? This indestructible guy that towers over the entire roster.
Bro, they can't book anything right.
We shall see. We shall see what MVP does. I hope MVP does more of the work creatively.
Yeah. You know what we're going to get? We're going to get Bobby Lashley versus Lance Archer on the pay-per-view for no reason. Doesn't this seem like a AEW move? They'll
Yeah.
concoct some reason on Collision, and that will be a match. You know, and then it will just be. Every time I try to give them a chance, they remind me why I should just not watch.
Yeah. And every time I don't want to watch AEW, people always say, "Hey, when's your WrestleDream review?" Or when
Yeah.
is their? I don't know. I'll do it as long as there's still people watching us on the stream if you talk about AEW. But as Sehu says, he doesn't want to hear about AEW anymore.
Well-
So maybe it's time for us to not talk about AEW anymore.
Here's your AEW. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you got what you wanted.
I hope the review of AEW was as entertaining for you, or more entertaining than actually having to sit through the show.
Yeah.
Or some people don't even watch AEW pay-per-views and just rely on the results from us. So
Well, there you go. So I hope you guys got the results you wanted.
yeah, I hope you guys appreciate us doing all the slogging for you guys.
That's it. Thank you so very much for hanging out. We appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, we'd like to shout out our lovely sponsor of the podcast right now. Bam! There you go. Hasif _captures. Drop our guy a follow on Instagram.
Yeah, man. He's an independent financial advisor. If you're looking for a second opinion on your financial review, hit him up. If you want to have some tea and get to know more about what he does, or want to talk about any other subjects from lifestyle, entrepreneurship, fitness, and pro wrestling. Let's talk pro wrestling with him.
Go
he's
cycling
the
with
guy.
him. Do a high rocks with him. Dude does everything, lah.
Are we like you're trying to promote him on the market, is it? Why go out with him?
Go hang out, chill.
Yeah.
Is he single? Where are the ladies at? I don't know. Whatever it is, just go
a
to
birdie,
his Instagram.
a birdie tells me he is available. If you are.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not what we're here to do. But if it happens, then hey, that's great, right? But yes, go have #day with Hasif and see what happens.
All right.
In the meantime, everybody, thanks once again. We'll be back very soon. Of course, like Foreign said, we will focus on some of the local wrestling with Grapple Max and SPW having events coming up soon. We'll talk to the wrestlers as well. But in the meantime, as always, it's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Take care.
Yeah.